The train headed for Sunset City will be departing soon.
Donkey Kong. Effective
I tried that
immediately.
once.
Hello, Donkey
Didn't work
Kong.
out.
It didn't work.
Thanks, man.
Well,
Did
we
Nintendo
are,
come after you?
we are now live.
Yeah, Nintendo came after me and tried to kill me.
Dude, it's just like
Also,
they're
hi
doing that.
everyone.
The Yuzu emulator, they're going after that now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wait, so what is the
I mean,
storyline?
I don't. I don't use that emulator, but like,
Oh,
that
it
is
rocks.
nuts. It does it rock? I've been meaning to check it out. Maybe this lawsuit's finally the hurdle I need to check it out.
It plays Switch games better than the Switch does.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing, and it's weird because I never heard about it until they started this lawsuit. Now I'm like, oh, okay, well, I should check it out.
Yeah, it's a publicity statement. It's not cool that they were making money off it. I think that's like the part that's bad.
Ooh, that's sussy, yeah.
They had like a donation page or something, but it's a good emulator.
They could theoretically start like a Patreon or something, as long as it isn't directly related to the product.
Actually, I think it is a Patreon. I think that's what it was.
I mean,
ooh, yeah, that's rough.
It's still muddy, isn't it? Like, I mean, because even though technically the income isn't going to the product, it's still making a form of income, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's why they have a case against it, which is annoying because it's better than the other emulator. But piracy's bad. I'm not encouraging piracy. Emulators aren't piracy. As long as you're not pirating games. Oh yes.
Love piracy. It's epic. Everyone pirate now.
Yar!
Well, Dylan,
Well,
you want to do the honors?
Well, anyway, welcome everybody to Sunset City, the Sonic podcast for the classic and modern age. Today, I am Garrulous64 here as a host as usual.
I was going to say, today you are.
As opposed to the days when you are actually, fuck. What's the name of another person? Salty, as opposed to the days when you are Salty.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm Garrulous.
We switched places and nobody noticed until
What's
now.
weird is this isn't the first time two people have switched places on this show.
Yeah.
Really?
You literally did it, Dylan. That
Did
time
I?
you swapped with Gilly.
Oh shit, you're right. That's right. I was Gilly for a bit.
Yeah.
But sorry, I'm here today with, as always, Channel Pup.
Hello.
And also, our wonderful guest of the day, Salty DK Dan.
I'm making soup.
What kind of soup?
Chicken noodle, because I feel sick.
Oh.
Jesus.
That's rough.
But not sick enough to talk about Sonic and or other gaming-related media.
Hell
That'll just make you more sick, talking about
Yeah,
Sonic.
no, it's gonna cause some reactions in my body I'm not looking forward to.
Get it to its absolute peak. This is what will cause the fever to kick in, cause the body to overheat, kills all the bacteria. Happens every time.
Especially if I have to talk about Sonic Twitter. Then I'll have like a full-blown like mental breakdown on top of it.
Things are gonna get heated. Hey, nice
I think Pup
microwave.
has some stuff to say about that.
Huh.
Oh, shoot, yeah.
Alright,
so, let's see, other things.
Well,
we
Dylan,
have
did you want to do the terms and conditions?
Yeah, as per usual, super chats. Sorry, okay, I just turned on the stream, and I thought someone else was talking, but it was my voice talking in the background.
Before. I used to think, why is everyone talking over me?
Who's talking? So, as per usual, super chats will be read at the end of the stream, and also we have a Patreon that you can check out in the description where you can send in questions for our guests.
That's the point. I gotta check if we got any questions for Soti. Okay.
See, I remember the intro better than Pup does now.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I just listen, man. Okay.
But welcome. I hope everyone's doing well.
We do have a couple of special priority messages from the patrons for you, Soti. You ready?
Excellent. Yes.
All right. So, Stardust Chaos says, "Finally, Sunset City with a twist." All right, but seriously, what's the first thing you think of when you hear Sonic?
Blue.
All right.
Fast.
Okay.
Fast is the second one. But
Ranking?
yeah, no. If we're talking about games, I usually think of like the adventure games as you know, as regular as that is, because I feel like everybody's like, yeah, the adventure games, but I'm like, yeah, no, I love that stuff.
Hell yeah.
I have regularly replayed those games. I don't know. I don't know. It just it hits different, and I'm glad that there's a really big modding scene around both of those games now. It makes me very happy.
Hell yeah. You ain't kidding. And
But
then...
yeah.
Sorry, go on.
No, I wish I had a more substantial answer to that person. I'm sorry, but yeah, I think of like Color blue, freedom, and the adventure games.
Freedom.
All
That's a
the
good
other
one.
Freedom!
fans are getting a
Okay.
boner right now.
Freedom.
And then we've got our second one from Renbo64. Mr. DK Dan, we've been hearing rumors that you had a white illegal chow that you used to win chow races. Did you have any comments about that?
What color was it?
What?
White?
White, yes.
A white illegal chow. I'm trying to think of like what that could that could mean. I did not have sex with that woman. The glove does not fit, so you have to acquit. Also, I didn't. What's like another thing I can quote? I don't know. Third quote here. Yeah, no, I don't know what you're talking about. But I will say this. Man, is Chow Garden hacking so fun. As somebody who struggled with the Chow Garden as a kid and understanding it as a concept, man, I love hacking in custom chows and just like winning all the races. It feels, it's like better than smoking. Like,
I
Love
got
that
a
shit.
confession,
Get less
actually.
lung cancer too.
yeah, less lung cancer and just more like roided up children.
I got a little confession though when it comes to like Chow Gardens is like for as much as I play the Sonic Adventure games, and I do play them pretty often. Like Adventure 2 is like in my top 3 Sonic games. And Adventure 1 is in the top 4, I think. But I don't engage with the Chow Garden very much. I don't think I've ever really truly raised a Chow before. So what's
No,
like
I've tried in the past. It's one of those things where the learning curve is so whack. Where like as a concept, it's really really cool, but then in practice, you have to kind of run through the same levels over and over again to like grind out materials, and it gets a little bit tedious.
I guess it's kind of an
I did
incentive
do a lot
to
of that when
replay. Sorry, go on, Dylan.
yeah, I did a lot of that when I was a kid. I remember spending time with friends, raising chow and doing stuff like that. But it was always on like it wasn't on their own memory cards where they'd come over and we'd race them or anything. It'd just be like, oh, we're gonna play this game for a while. We play City Escape 80 times to get rings to buy stuff. And honestly, these days I think I like it more as a concept and more as a thing in the past because I streamed SA2 the other day, and I was planning on doing Chow Garden stuff, but every time I got to the garden, I was like, I just kind of want to get back to the levels. Like, I wanted to play this because of the
Yeah.
levels.
I mean, I offered
And-
you $2 to bin your Chow, and you didn't.
I don't even think I didn't have any personal attachment to it at all, and I just didn't want to give you the satisfaction.
Hey, how
Oh,
you
I had mad personal attachment to my chow, like especially as a kid. Like,
Oh yeah, back in the day.
I
Yeah.
I don't know how I pulled this off. I must have been a really stupid kid, but I accidentally binned one of my chows because he was like, "Do you want to send your chow on a trip?" And I was like, hell yeah, I want to send my chow on a trip." Little did I know that meant that it was going to leave forever
Oh.
and never come back, and I didn't realize until it was too late because I don't like
Oh.
reading.
No, same here. I've got a similar story, and in some ways it's better, in some ways it's worse. But my sister had a Game Boy Color, and she had a Winnie the Pooh game on it, and she was way near the end of the game, and I borrowed her Game Boy so I could play Rayman, but it had Winnie the Pooh in there, and I saw it said new game, and I thought that new game meant that I would be getting her a new game, so when I hit new game, I totally
Aw.
deleted her Winnie the Pooh save, and
Right. I mean, that's such a nice thing to do for your sister, though.
it's such a
like,
good
that's such
reason
a nice idea.
to completely
Yeah, you
fucking
were
ruin-
like, I'm such a cool brother getting my sister a new game.
Well, I feel like I redeemed myself because even though this happened when I was like 7 years old, I'm 27 now. Like 20 years on, she didn't forget about it. Like we have a really like me and my sister, we're good friends and everything, but like I ain't forgotten about that. So a couple of Christmases ago, I bought her a Game Boy Color and a copy of Winnie the Pooh, and I was like, get back to where you were. You know?
Aw,
Just go back to it. You know.
Yeah,
So,
that's
brother
nice.
of-
that's
brother of the
cool.
year.
That's
All right.
sick.
All
A
right,
redemption
so,
arc.
what's that? Sorry.
A redemption arc.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I mean, it's not like I played it to get her back to the owl boss fight or whatever the fuck, but like, it's something. She can.
No,
Start
you did
again.
what you could.
Yeah, I did what I could. All right, well, we always start our little show with some news, so we got some news, you know? Yeah. So
Are you
first
kidding
up,
me? No freaking way. I love news.
hell yeah.
Let's go.
So, first up, the Sega recruitment website had an interview with some of the Sonic Frontiers developers, and it's more or less stuff that we kinda heard before, that the game was in and out of testing constantly, that there wasn't, like, in the conventional sense, the beta and the alpha version of the game. It was just always being tested on, and you can fucking tell. I love that game to bits. It's, like, one of my favorite fucking games ever made, but, like, you could tell. But there is a point that has been kind of spread around and taken out of context. So there was a person called Ace Super on Twitter who posted it, kind of giving their own take, saying it looks to me like this was kind of like Sonic Team's last gambit at a big budget Sonic game. And that was just kind of their take, but this is being spread around with people quote tweeting it saying, man, this was almost the end of Sonic. This was almost the very last Sonic game ever made, and stuff like that, when there's not really anything to say that in there. So I'll find the quote that's got people thinking that this is...
Dude, Sonic fans overreacting? What?
Right? Okay, so the quote goes like, the project has taken about 5 years in total. For the first year, we worked with a small group of people to finalize the specifications, and during that time, I was working on another project, and by the time I came back, the prototype we'd created was still quite satisfactory in terms of graphics and playability. It wasn't. In the project, we are using an in-house engine called Hedgehog Engine that specializes in Sonic's gameplay, but development of this also progressing at the same time, and we are working on the creation of the Open Zone. We continued to add necessary features one after another. The team was filled with a sense of crisis. We have to create something new. If we fail here, there will be no chance. Now, there's nothing in that to say this was gonna be the last time Sega would ever make a Sonic game, or like make a big budgeted mainline Sonic game, you know? Like, for starters, it's clearly been translated, like, to hell and back. Because there's the point where he's like, it was satisfactory. It wasn't. One full stop later, he's changed his mind. What I'm taking from this is that the game, had it not been a success, might have cost a lot of people their jobs. And I think the game's director, Mori Kishimoto, did say that if this game failed, he would have stepped down as a director for Sonic Team. And there have been hints that this might have been Takeshi Iizuka's job on the line as well. So I think what's being said here is that Sonic Frontiers' success saved a lot of people their jobs. But let's be real, the odds of them ever stopping making Sonic games, or even making like tentpole Sonic games, are pretty much zilch. It's a very valuable IP. Like, at the worst case scenario, Sega would surely sell the IP, and that would be a historic instance of a company not realizing the gold dust they have in their hands. But at the same time, like, even more unlikely than that would be that no one would buy it. People would buy Sonic. If Sonic was for sale, there's a ton of development studios that would be biting at the bit to have Sonic.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, I feel like everybody makes jokes about how like Sega doesn't realize the gold mine that they have with some of their ideas, but I really do believe there really is so much that they could do with Sonic that I feel like they just kind of don't, maybe out of like they don't have the confidence to do it or stuff like that. I'm still waiting for my Chow Garden mobile app. I want it really bad. Ever since somebody pitched it to me, I was like, oh, whew, I would mess that up.
It's very, very highly rumored, actually. There's the rumors of that and a Fall Guys-inspired multiplayer.
Oh, that one, yeah.
I did see that recently.
Yeah. So
Didn't they come up with, like, a title for it? Isn't that going around, like, Sonic Toy Box or something?
What's that, sorry?
Wasn't there, like, a title dropped about that? Not, like, officially, but I thought I saw something, like, the new Sonic mobile game was called, like, Sonic Toy Box or something, or Sonic Toy Clash.
I wouldn't know about
Did anyone else hear that?
That's news to me.
I didn't hear that personally. I only heard that like they wanted to do like there was like rumors that they wanted to do a Sonic Fall Guys sort of thing.
The other rumor was that it's in the Sonic and Friends universe.
It's this Sonic Fall Guys competitor codenamed Sonic Toys Party.
Oh, okay.
And that was posted a day ago somewhere. I don't know if it's true, but that's just something I saw earlier today.
It's developed by Jack Pacific.
Let's go, Jack Specific!
Those Jack Pacific Sonic toys are actually so much better than they have any right to be.
I don't have any, are they?
Yeah, they are. I've got
just
like
seen
a
the
whole
pictures.
shelf
They're
full of them because
very
I
high quality.
am yet to ever feel the touch of a woman. But like, yeah, got loads of. I got a little Mephiles on my desk right here. I think what I like about them so much is that they've done everyone pretty much, like everyone that Sega will allow them to do effectively. So
Is this post in the back rooms from Dave? Is that
Hold
Jack
on.
Specific Toys?
that is Jack Specific. So yeah, Badnik Mechanic has been
Those are
chatting with us
pretty
in the
good.
back rooms, and yeah, they've released new Sonic Prime toys.
Thank you for that, by the way, Dave.
Yeah, thank you, Badnik Mechanic. Yeah, little Mickey Mouse Clubhouse toys for you. Enjoy.
Okay, hold on. Did you say Mephiles Jack Specific toy?
Yeah.
That's a thing?
If there's
Dude,
anything
I
for
can send
him.
you a picture of him. Hang on, he's on my desk. right
Yes,
now.
please. I didn't know that even existed. I didn't even know that any Mephiles merch existed. Man,
Oh, dude,
I suck at this.
they had plushes. They've had those little tech deck boards. Yeah, hang on.
What? A tech board?
Yeah, those.
Dude,
little,
I haven't heard of a tech deck in forever.
Yeah, those little fingerboards or whatever. I think it's called a tech deck. I don't know. I don't.
No,
really have
that was like an elementary school thing for me. I'd be like, yeah, tech deck.
All right, I'm putting it in the back rooms. This is great listening. Let's see.
Just so you guys know, it's a Mephiles figure. You can Google this on
Mephiles
Google.
Action figure. He's so sick as well. They gave him little feet. Because Mephiles doesn't.
Oh, he
usually
didn't have feet.
Yeah, he didn't
Yeah.
have feet, but they gave him little feet, and they actually look good.
Wow, that actually does look really good.
It's
What?
sick, right?
It looks real cool.
That's
like the
insane.
Yeah,
That is
right.
going on my
Yeah,
list.
he did not have feet in the game.
he came out.
Foot hype.
Oh yeah, he didn't have feet, did he?
Well, they've given you this little cloud thing to put over the feet to hide them, but if you don't want to use the cloud, he has got little feet, and it doesn't look wrong at all. It looks perfectly fine. Like,
Yeah.
but
Oh, he looks
gotta
sick. I
say-
love the way his eyes are like carved like stone. That shit's cool looking.
oh yeah,
Yeah, gotta say, I completely forgot Mephiles doesn't have feet, and I gotta say, very, very inspired design choice. I like it a lot.
definitely. They also did a Chaos Zero and just other stuff as well. I think they've recently released
Ooh.
like some of the hard-boiled heavies. So yeah, kind of cool.
I don't have the money to buy these things or look at them.
But the great thing about
Stop
these
Googling.
is like the amount they charge for these toys is like the amount that like action figures used to cost back in like 2002. These are $10 a pop.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh wow,
Wow,
that's surprising.
or at least
that
10
goes hard.
pounds, I guess. So I don't know what that is in dollary dues.
Oh
but
my gosh, it's probably
like
around
$50.
And but the crazy shift between and this is like a slight spoiler. I'm planning on making a video about some Sonic Roblox things again because there's just so many that keep popping up that actually seem fairly competent. But looking at that, it's like, yeah, our action figures are $10 and they're super fucking cool. And then you see their official Sonic Roblox game where it's like stuffed up the ass with microtransactions. And it's like,
Oh yeah.
whoever's making these decisions must be like two different people, you know?
I remember playing. Yeah, there was one I played on Roblox, which was like the Sonic Adventure experience or something, but like they'd successfully replicated like Sonic Adventure 1 style gameplay in Roblox. That was very impressive. I can't remember for
That's
the life of
wild.
me what my password is for Roblox, so I haven't played it in ages. And they don't
They
even have a
make some
forgot
crazy
password
shit in that
button.
game.
I got like weirdly addicted to Sonic Speed Simulator for a little bit when it like first came
I
out.
am too. Right now.
It's just I don't even know because it's like it's just a big nice open area that you run around in and you collect little orbs and shit and I'm like, okay, yeah, you know what? I like collecting orbs. I like
Yeah, I love
collecting
running.
rings and little things that you can buy other things with.
The
I kind
advent-
of fell off of it though, and they added a bunch of new stuff, so now I'm scared
Well,
to go
there's-
back.
the
There
advent
is
of the
so
open
much
zone.
in that game now. There's like 9 or 10 different worlds you can go to. There's like a
Dang.
million characters. Like, again, I don't like the idea that it's so microtransaction heavy, but you know, that's
It
just
is
how it is.
momentum
It's just like
based.
running around, just run around.
I do really like the idea that the more like rings or whatever you collect, the like faster you get. I do like that idea. I don't know if I'd like to see it in a main game, but like it's a cool idea. It does feel really cool to like rack up rings over time and like get faster and faster and faster.
I think the bottom speed is too slow though.
Oh no, yeah, 100%. But also like on the flip side, man, does it make you feel really fast when you start out like that slow?
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. It
Like
just
the
it took
contrast
so
is
long.
great.
The first
Yeah.
time I tried to build up the speed, I was like, shit. You know, like how
Yeah, I
long
felt
is
like I
this
was
gonna take?
walking through a swamp. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
speed simulator, more like fucking no.
Nice, nice.
that was a good one. Yeah.
My wit. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
I've
anyway.
recently gotten back into Sonic Dash because like I'd heard that Sonic Mania was coming to Netflix. It still hasn't dropped on UK Netflix yet, so I was just kind of scrolling through. I was like, well, I guess I'll cut off my losses and download Sonic Prime Dash and see. Enjoyed the original, and it is literally just Sonic Dash with Prime stuff and not got microtransactions. Give you, a lot of-
Mm.
but kind of addictive. Probably not good for the mental health, but quite addictive.
Mm.
So for other
Like
news,
the internet.
we've got some non-Sonic related news for today, to some degree anyway. Triple A Gaming appears to be on the verge of collapse, as there's been a lot of layoffs and stuff like that. Like PlayStation Studios has kind of, had a mandate for layoffs, and that envelops a lot of different publishers, including Insomniac Games as well. So it's like Marvel Spider-Man 2 was like a huge success. And imagine like you worked on that, and then you lost your job. You didn't have job
You
security
get fired.
after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really, it does kind of feel like capitalism moment, because even when they made such an amazing game, like
Yeah.
they're still just like, not enough money, bye-bye.
Yeah.
Right?
And the CEO is like fanning himself with his $5 million
Yeah.
fan, and he's like, "Oh, thank goodness my job's safe."
Sorry guys, I just had to give myself a pay raise for that amazing game I had zero hand in. Anyway, get out of my sight.
Right.
Or as
It's
Shadow would say,
gone.
disappear.
time for you to disappear. It
Or-
was
or
a
eat-
Funny
trigger.
because Shadow is
Or-
not involved at all.
Yeah, no,
The CEO's just a huge Shadow fan.
yeah. I mean, who isn't
Oh,
these days?
Dude, I had to lay off Insomniac Games because I built real Shadow Jet shoes for myself. They were really expensive.
I mean, have you seen the reaction to Sonic Generations X Shadow, whatever?
Dude.
Like people were like, "Oh my gosh, Sega is back!" Like they
Yeah.
put Shadow front and center, and people were like, yeah, "They are back." Ignore forces, but they are back.
I love the idea that, like, after, like, Shadow the Hedgehog was massively critically panned back in 2005, they had the so-called Dark Era when everyone hated it and stuff like that, that now that they've just dropped the trailer for Sonic X Shadow Generations, and you've got Doomseye in it, and all this Shadow the Hedgehog 05 stuff, and people are cheering. I just love to think of Takeshi Iizuka just sat at a desk scratching his head like, what the fuck is happening here?
Why do they like that guy? What is it?
I'm telling you, and we could talk about this later, but I'm telling you, so many people clowned on Shadow the Hedgehog, the game, but everybody kind of low-key liked it. Everybody did. Because even if you didn't enjoy it, you found joy in the fact that it was kind of insane plot-wise.
Yeah.
There was just stuff to like about it.
Yeah,
I think
it's
people
very
are
funny
starting
game.
to really come around to it, and it makes me very happy because, as much as I hate how slippery that game is mechanically and other stuff, like I do genuinely like it.
I need to replay it myself because it's been like years, like literal years, like many, many years, maybe even a decade or so. But I do remember, like, at my school, like secondary school and stuff, I'd be like, oh yeah, I like Sonic Unleashed. It's made me a Sonic fan. People are like, oh, I used to play the Sonic game. I played Shadow the Hedgehog, and that was a great game. And it's like, oh, okay, interesting. So it does seem to be one of those things where it's like the general people that like don't necessarily play Sonic all the time did seem to enjoy Shadow the Hedgehog. And I get the sense as well that there's probably a lot of people playing it that didn't necessarily go for the true ending. So then
Yeah.
you're going to mitigate like a good chunk of the game's problems if you just play a version of it and you're just unaware of the fact that this is supposed to end with a big showdown with Super Shadow and stuff like that.
Yeah, when I first played it as a kid, that was my first experience with a game that was like had branching pathways, and I didn't really understand it because I mostly only played Sonic games and like Mario games up until that point. So I was like, just basically what ended up happening was that I would just gun for the goal ring every single stage. And if you know anything about that game's neutral route, it ends with Shadow like fucking murdering Dr. Eggman. And the game ends, and I was like, wow, that's a crazy, like, as a kid, I was like, wow, that's a crazy freaking cliffhanger. I can't wait for the next game. Then I put it down and came back to it on a whim one day and was like, wait a second, what are these branching paths? I didn't get any of these. And then I was like, oh, no, you have to choose your path by doing the different objectives. What a cool idea.
I think
it is a cool idea,
is way too
on
much
paper especially.
Yeah, in practice, but
it's a little
Sonic has always been kind of weird about like multi-objective stages.
Yeah.
SA2 had that too with the when you go back to stages and it had like the mission mode. It was like find the chow, and I'm like, you mean the really tiny thing in like this massive stage? I don't think I can.
Yeah, or locking like a true
ending
behind a ridiculous amount of busy work that just is at odds with the gameplay style. Like, I adore Sonic Unleashed. I think it's probably one of the best Sonic games ever made. The medallion quota to get to Jungle Joyride is ridiculous. And it's like, if you're trying to get these medals in day stages, like, it's just really not built for that kind of thing. These are not hunting levels, you know?
I don't think there are enough. I think you need to get them in the Werehog stage. But to be honest, I prefer hunting for them in the Werehog stages because you're not going very fast, you know?
I agree with that, but like to get, I think you get sun medallions mostly in the Werehog stages, and then the moon medallions get them mostly in the day stages. So you did have to do a little bit of day stage replay. And to be fair, like if it was more like kind of the red star rings in Sonic Frontiers, where it's kind of like there's just one for every path effectively. Like just take every path in the level and you pretty much get all of them. That would be kind of okay, but when it's literally like, oh, it's just tucked away on this little rooftop over here in a day stage, it's very counterintuitive.
I just want to say I'm sorry for derailing and then talking about Shadow and then bringing it to like other things. It is very sad that Toys for Bob and the layoffs happened. I'm actually happy for Toys for Bob, but did we talk about that it went indie or?
Oh yeah, we'll be getting to that. And don't worry, dude. Like tangents are like a part of this show's lifeblood. This is what gets these episodes to duration length. You know, like that's what it's all about.
Yeah. I get it. I just felt bad because I was like, I'm just talking about Shadow now. Let's talk about Shadow the Hedgehog and
Shadow's great.
How stages are laid out. And,
hey, Salty, I lost my job. Yeah, but have you heard of Shadow the Hedgehog?
And they were like, actually, wait, no, I think I did hear about Shadow. He's that guy from Sonic, right?
But yeah, no,
my family can't eat anymore, but Shadow the Hedgehog's so cool.
The AAA gaming thing is on the verge of a massive collapse, and one of the first kind of after effects of that we're seeing is that Toys for Bob have now gone indie after kind of being an associate of Microsoft and Activision. Now, for one, this is really good news, because it means that they can do things on their own terms. It does mean that there'll be less work unless they start really pursuing their own projects, so there is, a lot more for them to do. But I know that a lot of people have been kind of a little concerned about, like, what this means for the future of Spyro and Crash Bandicoot, and I do recognize that people's jobs are absolutely more important than us having games to play. At the same time, I think it is a discussion worth kind of having as well. I think there's a time and a place for it, but it's a discussion to be had. But to those people, I would say don't worry about that, because they can still just get them on to make those games. Like, it's kind of like Sega's relationship with Evening Star Studios. Like, I think a lot of people were kind of expecting and hoping for Christian Whitehead, Stealth, and everyone involved in Sonic Mania to go on to work under Sega and be the Mania team and all that, but instead they went indie, went on to become, Evening Star, made Penny's big breakaway. But they can still come back for a Sonic Mania 2 or a new Sonic game. Like, there's nothing to stop Sega from being like, yeah, we want to partner up with you. In the same way they partner up with Arzest. Arzest are not a subsidiary of Sega, so there's nothing stopping, Activision from going to Toys for Bob to say, make Spyro 4 for us. And I hope they will. I think it's been way too long since we last had any new Spyro stuff. But yeah, how do you...
The fact that they just left... the fact that they just left and became indie makes me think that they were not working on a Spyro title for all of this time, which means we're probably going to have to wait even longer.
Yeah. It's also one of those things where Activision have not masked their preference for Crash Bandicoot. Like, they clearly prefer the Bandicoot.
Oh, even that, though, that did not save their most recent Crash game, because they just announced Crash Team Rumble is, it's getting its final season update, I think.
It's because it's not what anyone wants from
not
Crash
adding...
Bandicoot, is it? Like, people don't want that from Crash. They want a platforming game from Crash, or maybe a racer. But, like, a big live service online thing is not what people play Crash Bandicoot for.
It's a pretty fun game, though. Like, I had a good time playing it for a bit. It's just, it got really tedious, and I feel like it didn't have the reception they were hoping for. Like, CTR went on for... I don't even know how many updates it got. They had a lot of Grand Prix updates to that thing, and I think they were hoping it would be another one of those. But that game, I think they're adding all of the content back next update, and then that's just going to be it. I think they're not updating it anymore.
Not like a completely online thing, though. Like,
it is.
Yeah, so that I think that's a key difference, though, is that, like, Crash Team Racing is still like you can play it online and get all the additional stuff, but it's still predominantly like an offline game. Like, it's, a game that you can just play, pick up and stuff. And I think it's that live service element that's probably alienated a lot of people. I mean, it is a death nail for a lot of projects. A lot of people will hear live service, don't want it, And I personally, I'm mixed. If it's the kind of thing where it requires like a PlayStation Plus account or an Xbox Live account to play, I think it should be built in with the game. If I'm buying the game, then it should kind of unlock the Xbox Live thing just for that game. Because otherwise, it's just a waste of money, right? Like,
that would be much better. I'd prefer that, because I don't want to buy the PlayStation Online thing for my PS4 for just Crash Team Rumble. That was the biggest deterrent for me from playing it, actually. Because, it's just not worth it to me. I use the PlayStation 4 for hardly anything these days.
Also, Dylan, your boy Little Boulder is asking you, or just your friend Little Boulder, I guess. I don't know otherwise.
Have you heard me eating?
I want an entire episode based on whatever you're eating.
It was a Subway sandwich. It was a foot-long steak, cheese, pepper, onion thing.
Oh, that's a good choice.
It was very good. Delicious.
Salty, you ever eat Subway?
Yeah, I ate Subway for a little bit when I was, I think I was in high school. I haven't eaten it since, though.
What's like your go-to sub?
Oh god, I'm gonna get freaking flamed for this. So when I went to Subway, I really didn't get like the standard stuff. Oh my god. When I went there once, I literally was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna get some buffalo chicken and just some cheese on it, and I'm good. And I had it once, and I thought it was kind of good. So after that point, every time I went, I would probably just get that. I got other stuff too. I just was like, I don't know. Feel free to flame me. I know it's a really, really weird order, but I don't know. It kind of hit.
Dude, my old one was... I don't really think that's necessarily that weird. It's just like a buffalo chicken melt that sounds pretty good. Yeah. My old one, I really took Have It Your Way at Subway as like a challenge. And I would do tuna, pepperoni, and onions.
Okay, what is wrong with you?
It was good, I swear to God. I swear it was good. Like, the flavors hit, like, really well together. I don't know what the deal is, but it was good.
Tuna.
Wait, can you repeat that again? I need to, like, fully process what you just said.
This is when I was a lot younger. Like, I used to go to Subway, and I used to do tuna, pepperoni, onions, and honey mustard, and it was fucking awesome. Like, it was delicious.
Mustard and tuna.
I'm so glad that you have an order like that, I feel like this is such a safe space for me now.
Dude,
Dylan,
that's why when
what
you
the
said, "Oh, my
fuck?
order's so weird, I'm gonna get flamed," I was like,
What
"That's
the
not weird at all.
fuck,
What are you
Dylan?
talking about?"
That's insane.
Yeah.
It was.
I mean, like,
good.
okay, listen, I trust, okay? I've had some pretty weird combinations in my life. I trust that is probably, like, especially, like, everybody's taste buds are different, so you'll get a different experience depending on who you are. But, like, one time I had, like, I accidentally, when I was a kid, I was, like, gorging myself at, like, a pizza party or something for, like, a birthday, and I accidentally had, like, pizza and chocolate in my mouth at the same time because I was going nuts. And that was actually not that bad.
Well, sometimes the infusion of the sweet and the savory can go really well. It's like McDonald's fries in the ice cream, or
Yeah.
bacon and maple syrup is like a match made in fucking food heaven. Like,
Yeah.
my subs are kind of the basic bitch. I tend to go for. I've got three that I kind of alternate between. Like, one of them, if I'm feeling like I'm in a healthy boy mood, it's the little chicken Caesar one with jalapenos, cucumbers, lettuce, and all that shit. Sometimes it's the meatball marinara, again, basic bitch, and sometimes it's the Philly cheesesteak.
I'm sorry. Xavier Fortin said Salty had a Ratatouille moment.
I really did.
The
I had
cheese and the
chocolate
grape,
and-
and he's like,
I had chocolate and pizza in my mouth at the same time, and I closed my eyes like Remy, and I was just starting to see colors and shit.
no, honestly, that's what they say at Subway, to have it your way. So I did.
That's not
You know,
what
that's
they
just
say.
what
That's Burger King.
No, it's not. Is
Subway's
it?
thing is eat fresh. Burger King is have it your way.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
I said that Subway the other day in front of people, and they agreed with me. They said, "Yeah, oh, that's true."
You've got
Yeah,
the
Subway's
Subway
eat
thing
fresh.
so wrong.
Even though it's not even necessarily true.
I mean,
it rhymed at least.
in
Yeah.
the UK, no, it doesn't. Way does not rhyme with way. Way is just the same word.
Oh shit!
Have it your way?
no.
What? I'm so confused as to how that rhymes.
Why would
Well, you
have
say
it your way? It's
Subway, have
Subway.
it your way. Have it your way rhymes with Subway.
Yeah, no, that is not.
It's the same fucking word.
It's the same word.
I went to school. Well, technically, Subway is a compound word, so that's not the same word.
Would you believe though that
Taking out the SAT terms, I see, to really prove us wrong.
I was an
Okay.
English major. wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute.
though
Wait a minute.
that like Dylan here, his videos are so fucking witty, and then just in a live show, he's just a toilet
No, I'm
brain.
an idiot. But listen. I just googled Subway have it, and it filled it in. Subway have it your way. So why would it do that if I was wrong?
Change the fucking saying to Subway, have it.
No, it says Subway's new campaign assures customers they can have it their way.
No way.
It's real. It's
They're getting
2023.
sued. There's a lawsuit for that. Like,
Oh my god. No, wait. It says years after Burger King used or urged consumers to have it your way, another food maker is reassuring that you can have it your way. I'm right.
I've
I'm
got to look
correct.
into this. I gotta look into this. Subway,
This is real.
have it your.
I can't believe it.
It's in the New York
I
Times.
I can't believe it.
Someone here
And there's
in
also
Reddit Shower Thoughts says, "Have it your way" would make more sense as a slogan for Chipotle or Subway instead of Burger King. I mean, yeah.
there's also a Subway commercial from 1996 that says "Subway My Way Jingle."
I mean,
Burger
I don't
King
know,
should have something about it being royalty, and I'm kind of pissed that it doesn't.
Burger King,
when I go to
Like
Burger King,
dine
it
with the
says-
Royals or something. I don't know.
a feast fit
I
for
think
a
at
monarch.
Burger
I don't
King-
know.
Oh yeah, feast fit for a king.
I don't like
Except
using the
they
same
would probably
word twice.
they would
though,
probably
you know?
not want to. They would probably not want to repeat the word king
Right,
twice
yeah.
because they'd be like Burger King, dine with royalty or something.
Well, they
I don't
get
know.
their Burger King-
Now I'm saying that I feel silly.
A feast fit for a queen. A subversion, you know? Progressive.
Yeah. Let them eat cake.
Sorry, that was just a very big moment for me that I thought I was wrong, but
No, genuinely.
I've been vindicated.
I mean, I'm still not seeing sufficient evidence. I'm seeing a New York Times article, and that's all I'm seeing.
do you not trust the New York Times?
I don't trust the New York Times.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't trust any newspaper, frankly. I need to see it. I need to actually see it at Subway. Apparently,
Well,
according
anyway.
to Accelerate, Burger King has you rule. Wouldn't it
Aw.
be better to say we rule? It feels like you rule is kind of self-defeating, as in like it'd be like Burger King, cook your own burger at home.
Well, no, it's because they don't give a shit about the people working there. They're saying that we rule because, you know, the customers provide them with the money.
That's true. Fucking anti-work people. Yeah. All right then. Well, shall we get into the meat of today?
Yes. Yeah.
I love meat.
That would be good.
Same here. I'm not a vegan. But obviously, all respect to anyone that is a vegan. Starting off, I mean, Salty, like, how did you get into Sonic?
That is an amazing question, and I do actually have an answer. Sometimes I don't, because sometimes I'm like, I just feel like I came out into the world and I just liked Sonic from the beginning. But I actually have a very solidly defined start point.
Okay.
So my family, when I was younger, like, we didn't really have any video games when I was like super young. My dad had like an Xbox, but like we barely used it. And Sonic was the start of my gaming journey, to say, because my grandmother got me and my cousin a Sega Genesis to share.
Dick.
And at this point, I think the Sega Genesis was like not really relevant anymore. I'm not really sure why we got a Sega Genesis, because I don't think it was even the most modern thing at the time. But I guess it must have been cheap enough to where it was like, okay, yeah, here you go. And the Sega Genesis was, I think, well, technically, okay, it wasn't my first experience with games. Like, I knew that they existed. I saw Mario 64 like once, and I was like, wow, it's like a cartoon, but like real. But the Sega Genesis was the first console that I ever like partially owned. And the two games that we had for it was one for Batman the Animated Series. That was kind of garbage, but it had Batman, so that made me excited. And Sonic 2. And I think at the time I didn't realize it was a sequel. I thought that the 2 was there because there was two different characters.
Makes sense.
Sonic and Tails.
Okay. All right.
Which, I mean, is true. It is correct. I think that's what they were kind of doing, but yeah. Also, the two Tails thing with Tails, like, haha. So we played that a lot. We couldn't even get past Chemical Plant Zone, but I don't know, it hit different. Again, it was my first direct experience with games, so I was like, okay, this rocks. And what was really cool is that shortly after this, I think a year or two after, I went to a local like EB Games, and they had a GameCube display, and on that GameCube display was Sonic Adventure 2. It was the first Sonic stage where he's doing Escape from the City, or City Escape.
Oh, hell yeah.
The coolest opening in any video game.
Yes, and at that point I was like, this is awesome. This looks even better than Mario 64. How does this even exist?
You're right, it does look better.
It did. It looked better, and I was
It
like,
better.
not only that, but Sonic is here, and he's like cooler.
Yeah.
So I played a little bit of it, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so fun to play. And then eventually, when I did get a GameCube, once again, I wasn't the one to get Sonic Adventure 2. My cousin was, and I would come over and we would like play the game together. We'd play single player, and then we'd like swap on and off whenever we died. And we got really engaged in like the story and stuff, and that really like got me like just super excited. It was one of the first times that like I ever beat a game all the way through. I remember we brought it. We went on a family vacation type thing. We brought the GameCube with us with that game of my cousin's, and we actually beat the game, like the final story, while we were on vacation, like in our little like hotel thing. And I remember it so distinctly because me and my cousin were swapping on and off. We're like, I think he was Sonic and I was Super Shadow, and like we were fighting the Bio Lizard, and it was awesome. Like passing the
That's
controller
so
back
cool.
and forth between us in that final fight was just a wonderful experience, and I will never forget it.
That sounds
Uh,
awesome.
That's like that's the kind of experience that I hope that people still are able to have in this day and age. You know, like I know a lot of games are online now, but I hope
Yeah.
out there are still some people doing shit like that because I can imagine just being like, "Oh, your turn, go, go, go!" You know, you gotta and, like the music blaring in the background, and you
yes,
finally do it, and it's like,
it was a
yeah!
lot.
And then the end, and did you cry?
Oh my god, I don't know if I cried, but I did get really emotional because like I was so shocked with how like emotional the story got by the end, and like as a kid, you know, this being one of the first video games I ever beat, I was like, oh my god, this is crazy cool. Like I never played a game that had such an involved story before, and I felt like it was like a movie that I
It was like
got
a
to
real
like
adventure.
take place in.
I
It,
think
it
that's
really did. It
something.
felt like an adventure.
It's something that
Um,
people underestimated quite a lot, and I think Sega also underestimated quite a lot, was the power of a really good story in a Sonic game, even if it is translated hilariously or it's not animated very well. It's the thing is, like, it's gameplay mechanics and stuff that make people like Sonic. I think the classic Sonic games, they make people like Sonic. You might
Yes.
play a game like Sonic Colors, you like Sonic, but what makes people fucking obsessed with Sonic is stories like Sonic Adventure 2 or Sonic Unleashed or even like Sonic 06 and Shadow the Hedgehog. Like, the execution might not necessarily be there, but like, you look at these characters and they're pretty unsuspecting. They could just be, you know, Mohawk Mickey Mouse for all it matters. But then you're getting this story of like just Sonic Adventure 2, you've got like so much going on there. You've got this almost messianic figure with Shadow, the sacrifice. You've got government brutality with Maria Robotnik. You've got so much rich world building.
Looking back on Sonic Adventure 2 in particular, like they got it the fact that Gerald Robotnik gets like assassinated via firing squad. He gets a oh my god, what's the word for it? Executed. He gets executed by a firing squad. And as a kid, I just didn't really register it, but looking back, I was like, holy crap.
That's the thing,
That
it
is
flies over your head when you're a
insane.
kid.
Kind of intense. Even just like the fact that he's sitting there in the chair with his head down, talking in this like devastated tone about how sad he is and how much he wants to like make everyone pay for what they like for what the government did to him.
Oh, yeah,
like, it is so heavy for a kid's
it
game.
is
Like
so
it's
heavy.
crazy.
But like as a kid, I was like, oh my god, it's getting serious now. Like,
I was like,
oh,
old Eggman's he's mad.
It
He's
really
angry.
clicked with me.
he's angry. And
When I saw Eggman holding Amy at gunpoint, I was like, oh my god, Eggman's got a gun. That's awesome.
yeah,
Dude, it's also
But yeah,
funny because they were like, someone when I streamed it the other day was like, why did he feel the need to whip out the gun when he's riding around in like a mobile turret vehicle?
It's a waste of
It was
time.
the
He's
gesture.
got guns in it.
You don't need to shoot a rocket at Amy, just fucking put a bullet in her head.
it
guess.
has bullets.
Yeah, you got like those small little.
Still, I want to see Amy get held at gunpoint by Jim Carrey in Sonic 3. But we'll save that for another topic later.
Sonic
So that would go
3
kinda
if
hard.
it wasn't made by cowards.
Sonic 3.
We're talking to you,
animated.
Jeff Fowler. You better do
But yeah,
this.
Zack Snyder's
and-
Sonic 3.
I really loved Sonic Adventure 2, and while we were playing through it, before we beat the game, I really wanted the game for myself because I really like. I had a GameCube at home, just didn't have the game, so I asked my parents for it, and then for Easter, like some families, I guess, like during Easter, like they'll have like a gift maybe for like family members, which I think is cool, but not everybody does it. But when I was a kid, they were like, "Yeah, we'll give them a little gift." And I got, I think, 2 different gifts. One was the Legend of Zelda collection on GameCube, where it had like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask and stuff. And the second one was Sonic Adventure 1, because they didn't realize that there was 2 of them. So that was the first Sonic game that I beat completely on my own. And at the time, I was like, this isn't Sonic Adventure 2. I don't like this one. But over time, I just was like, oh, but it has so many things to it that I like from this one specifically, like how each character has their own story and they don't have to like share the spotlight with other characters. And there's so many different gameplay styles, and I really
love
like
the
that.
adventure fields as well, like how You can literally get like a train from one zone to another, and there's just such a intricate world building with Adventure 1.
Oh
And
yeah,
I like
the
Gamma
the
uses the train.
yeah,
yeah,
I
the
like-
overworld was great. I even though it like compared to today's sort of stuff, it's like pretty small. Like going through the Mystic Ruins as a kid and kind of like getting lost in the woods for a while, it's such a magical experience, and it's kind of creepy in a way, and it kind of drew me in that sort of way. But like there's just like so many tiny details that like nowadays people who play that game like completely miss, where when I was a kid and I was going through Mystic Ruins for the first time, I got lost in that woods like a lot. And every time I got lost, I found like a new little thing that I thought was really cool. Like I found Big's house, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, he has a house that you can like actually visit." And when you go to the pyramid in the middle, like some of the statues on the front start like kind of like magically moving, and you're like, "Ooh, what's the deal with that? Why are they doing that?" It's so cool. I feel like nowadays a lot of people who play that game like will kind of zoom past a lot of that stuff. But when I was a kid, I was really big on exploring like every nook and cranny of a game. So like finding stuff like that was always really, really cool. But yeah, no, I eventually beat that game. Sadly, I couldn't do it when I was a kid because Big's section really confused me as a child.
It
Because I
doesn't
didn't like
explain
reading
well
directions.
enough how to actually beat
Yeah.
the big sections, and once you work it out,
Yeah,
it feels so silly. But like,
they have like an instructional guide in the game. I just like as a kid, I guess I didn't really want to read, or I didn't like look,
Tell
which
me
is
about it.
fine and valid. I think that that's a problem with the game. But like after after I got a little bit older and I came back to the game, I was like, I am determined. I'm beating Big's thing because I know there's going to be like a final story like Sonic Adventure 2 at the end of the game, and there was, and it was awesome, and I loved it. Magical experience all around. That's why I think of the adventure games when I think of Sonic, because those were just like wonderful gaming experiences that I wish I could have like vanilla for the first time ever again. And also like at this point I'm very much like I've played a lot of games at this point, so I would love if I could wipe my brain of every game I've ever played and just play those two games again. Because I feel like playing those as some of your first games ever is also very like formative.
yeah. I mean, I feel
Absolutely.
quite lucky that I didn't properly experience Sonic Adventure 2 until I was in my 20s. Because
God damn.
yeah, so for me, what happened was, like, I grew up with the two games, well, Sonic 1 and 2, on the Sega Mega Drive when I was a little kid, but, like, they were inherited. They were, like, my dad's games, and he let me play them when I was still in, like, the single-digit ages and stuff like that. And I remember there was a point when I got, like, an Xbox 360 one Christmas, and I was determined to get the Xbox 360 version of Spider-Man 3 game. And I told a massive horror story about that game in a recent episode, so I'll spare the details about why that fucking sucks. But my dad persuaded me to try out Sonic Unleashed instead, because I was gonna trade in some old PS2 games, and it's like, I could get a
Your
coupon.
dad ruined you.
He did. I could get a coupon towards Spider-Man 3 the game, or I could just get Sonic Unleashed because the game was just cheaper. Not only that, I did play it at like a kiosk thing at one point. I was like, wow, this is really fast. And yeah, that was the point where I got so obsessed with Sonic. Unleashed was the game that did it for me, that I went back and played all the games I'd missed and stuff. And when I got to Sonic Adventure 2, I got to Pumpkin Hill and considered it a write-off. I was like, these Knuckle stages ain't doing it for me, and they're a big roadblock. I don't want to play this shit anymore. And then what happened was I got locked out of my Steam account, couldn't remember the password for the life of me, couldn't find the recovery email, so I didn't have Sonic Adventure 2 anymore. Then there was a time when I was abroad, staying at a friend's, and the majority of the people there did not speak English, and I couldn't speak their language either, and I kind of had very little to do, and I tried signing into my most recent Steam account, only to, by pure coincidence, put in my old email and old password and get in. And I had all these Sonic games there waiting for me, and Sonic Adventure 2 was there. I was like, you know what? I'm aware of all the iconic moments in this game now. I could probably look at this game through a slightly different lens, so I'm going to play it. And I remember feeling like, so I was in my 20s, and I remember feeling kind of like you do when you're a little kid, when it's like, okay, dinner time, you scarf down your dinner as quickly as you can, run back to the computer to play more of it. I was in that mode. I had to go and see where this was going, and afterwards... This was also post-Sonic Forces, mind you, as well, so I'd experienced that disappointment from Sonic Forces, this kind of was the most soothing experience for me. Like, I just came back, I was like, I just had one of the greatest gaming experiences I've had since Sonic Unleashed. And I was like, I did not think I'd ever feel that again. And it was kind of emotional for me, you know? So
oh
yeah,
my
it
god, I
made me
get that.
really happy. Frontiers is another one that is in my favorites, though. Like, Frontiers kind of brought me back to kind of a place that I didn't think I'd ever experience again with Sonic as well. Like,
I agree, and this is coming from somebody who has not played the final update yet. Like I've only played the game as it released,
Mhm.
and that was a magical experience. I was like, oh wow, this is actually giving me the vibes of like my favorite type of Sonic. So
yeah.
it was just very fun.
Did you find, though,
Final
that,
Horizon is difficult, but very worth it.
I was going to say, did you
Yeah.
find that, like, the original ending just kind of trails off in the original? Because that was my biggest criticism of the game, was the ending.
So,
sucked.
interestingly enough, I quite liked the ending as it was. Like, I definitely see where people's criticisms lie, but I'm somebody who's pretty easily likes things a lot of the time. Especially if I give them a chance. Like, if I'm that deep into a Sonic game, even if the ending sucks, I think I'm still going to like it to an extent. But I totally get what people are talking about. I think the place where I lose people is like, I was like, actually, I kind of liked the final boss, that it was like a Galaga type thing. I kind of liked it.
So, to tell the truth, like, I think there is something very smart about the way the base Sonic Frontiers handles its final stuff. Like, I remember at the time I was disappointed, hoping for like more a mechanical island and stuff like that, but I was like, to be fair, there's more of a thematic resonance to, we're at this place that is kind of peaceful, a peaceful form of battlefield for the finale, and it kind of shows that life does begin anew regardless of what happens today. And I thought that was kind of cool. But I also didn't hate the Galaga shooter. I was disappointed at the time because I was like, what the fuck? Like, the other bosses went so hard. Like, this is...
Yeah, as somebody like me who like loves Undertale and stuff like that, like I do like shooter stuff like that. So it's one of those things where it's like, yes, I totally get what people are saying. It should have been like a supersonic thing because they've been building up supersonic fights the entire game. I totally get it.
Yeah, and then they just didn't do anything with it.
Yeah, but even the smaller things were like, the fact that they built it up with the hacking mini games, so by the time you actually get to that boss, you already know how it works and you like don't really need like any tutorial. I think that was smart. I don't know if they intended it to be like that, but the idea of introducing like mini games or game mechanics early on and then having them come back for the end is like something in games I really like.
It's
Plus,
smart.
oh my, the music in that segment though too is so good.
Yes. The music is amazing there.
Dude, my friends and I meme that so hard because of like the monologue that Sonic has. Like, we have this thing where it's like a totally like blown out edit of the song with just like I need your help, and it's like loud as fuck, and it cracks me up every time I see it. But I agree with you about the minigame thing, because if they hadn't given you the hacking segments beforehand and just thrown you into that, I would have been like, I'm not playing this.
I think it makes it work at the same time, though.
Like, yeah, they made it so it's like it doesn't come out of nowhere. It was just kind of like, it wasn't what I was expecting.
Yeah,
you know,
I found it very interesting of a way to go, and I do think it kind of reminds me a little bit of I feel like they were kind of trying to do a Super Mario Odyssey thing, where it's like, you've just beaten one boss fight, and then you get to play as that boss fight for the big climax, which involves a moon. But then, like, okay, so my biggest issue with the ending of the original Frontiers wasn't so much that final boss, so much as it was that on that last island, you don't really do anything other than just collect the heart tokens. You don't have any of that fun, like, cocoa herding, or those little things like the tower climbs, or anything like that. It is just get a very stingy heart quota and bring it to Sage, who, for some unknown reason, needs memory tokens now. That I thought was very weak. Final Horizon, one of the best things it does is it makes that final island at least interesting, in that it's kind of got the divide and conquer approach with, you know, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy getting the Chaos Emeralds and Sonic climbing the towers. I will say this, though, like, as much defenses as I can have for the original end fight, The Final Horizon version's a fucking showstopper of a fight. Like,
I can't wait to play it. I still haven't played it yet. And I've been trying to avoid stuff, but I'm already spoiled on a pretty big chunk of it. But I just haven't had the
It's hard to
time.
not be.
I haven't had the time really. And also like right when I was about to stream it, like a bunch of like layoffs at Sega happened, so I was like, okay, maybe I'll wait on that a bit.
yeah, optics.
Yeah, and, you know, just out of respect, I don't want to be like, oh guys, this sucks. Anyways, I'm gonna be streaming Final Horizon.
Gosh, my heart goes out to all the people affected by this, but goddamn, is this game cool, guys?
But
My God.
goddamn, they got Knuckles in here.
Knuckles, Tails.
Also, now
The
we
other
have
thing about the
excellent-
original ending is like, it is so heartbreaking to me that like you see Eggman at the end standing there alone with like the star shower coming down,
the
and then it
grieving
just
dad
cuts to
Eggman.
Sonic and Amy and stuff just fucking around and leaving. They don't even talk to him.
Like, hey, you okay?
Like,
But the thing is, maybe
so
Sonic doesn't
sad.
even know. Like, does Sonic even know Sage is dead in the
he
original?
doesn't catch up
No,
with him.
I don't think he does. I read
He doesn't
that
even
scene
bother.
as like Eggman kind of solemnly like walking away from the group while they like celebrate, like because he realizes, but Sonic definitely doesn't.
This isn't my first rodeo seeing a child die. All right.
He was like with Sage when it happened though. Like he was up in space with her.
He was, but he was
Like,
plummeting
that's my
back to
thing,
Earth
like-
at the point when she went boom. Like, to be
Oh, I
fair,
guess.
like,
But you know, like you wouldn't have like oh, where's Sage at? You know, like, did Sage make
You
it back?
could,
You know,
yeah, you
like
could.
just like one throwaway line, if anything. But instead, they just play the nice happy song and they fly away.
no, it would
And
be so
Eggman's
funny
crying on his knees, like.
if, like, Eggman was like, Tails, my daughter's dead, and he's like, I don't know, but what I do know is we all did it together. Little Sonic Adventure 2 moment there.
I saw
Sorry,
a
your daughter
tweet.
died, but we all
I
saved
saw-
the world.
All
I saw
well that ends well.
a tweet about that where like somebody was like, I kind of headcanon that like Eggman was thinking about resigning his evil ways at this point, but then Tails said that dumb shit, and he
Yes.
was like, no, I gotta kill you guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Never mind.
Never
Next
mind,
time
I gotta
see you,
kill
it's
these
on
fuckers.
Tails single-handedly
yeah.
ruined the redemption of Dr. Robotnik.
We all did it together. Shut up, kid.
I think it's still my
This is why I
favorite.
hate
My
children.
favorite comedic moment in any Sonic game has to be after you've just beaten Perfect Chaos and the entire city's underwater and ruined, and Tails just goes, "Well, all's well that ends well, right?"
Man, why does like early Tails get all of the best lines in the games?
Dude, Rodot enforces when he goes at the end, like, we'll all be friends forever. Like, after everyone, like, nothing fucking happened for
It's
3
true.
hours.
Like, we complain, but nothing changed. Like,
Oh, like, he has his speech, and then he says, true dat. Like, I
True
played
dat.
Forces. I played Forces with one of my friends, because I had told him about how much I didn't like it. And he was like, surely it's not that bad, because he, like, loved Sonic Adventure 2 and that stuff. And when that line was coming up, I was like, dude, you are either going to laugh your ass off at this, or you are going to think it's the dumbest shit you've ever heard.
I think
And he left the room. He was laughing so hard he walked out of the room.
I think the biggest difference between the moronic Tails lines from the adventure games and the moronic Tails lines in Forces, though, is just that sincerity that comes with the adventure games. Like,
Yeah.
they
Okay,
weren't trying to
that's fair.
talk down or anything. This was just how it was written. Whereas Forces, that whole Friends Forever shit is like, yeah, this is some Winnie the Pooh shit right here. You know, this is for kids. You know, just remind you guys that, you know, tortured for 6 months, but it is still for kids.
Yeah, I feel like if they did that plot line like in the adventure era, Sonic would at least look a little bit worn down.
Dude, it would have been amazing if we had a story like that in the adventure era. Like, can you imagine?
Well, he did get locked up in jail. However, that was only for like a day.
Yeah.
And he was going crazy already.
He'd already
Like,
scribbled
over a day.
all over the walls.
When I was a kid, I didn't realize that like I was like, oh wait, yeah, did Sonic write all that stuff? Like not thinking that it could have been literally any other character.
He's just like, I saw Tails writing these equations, so I figured I'd write some too. I don't know what they mean.
Yeah. I don't know what they mean. I just think it'd be kind of cool.
Hey, Tails, look, E
Hey,
equals
gotta
MC
send the
squared.
videos.
Did you know that, buddy? I'm smart.
Dude, the slope formula is y equals mx plus b.
Whoa, Tails, look, pi.
Hi. Love
I hate
Sonic.
Yeah, Sonic is great.
Fuck, that shit's so fun. I hope that like synced up perfectly on the
I
stream
really
too.
hope so, yeah.
No. That's oh my god, Sonic community in a nutshell.
Man. So, yeah, I mean, also, Salty, like, do you have any, like, favorite Sonic TV shows or, like, non-game piece of, like, Sonic media?
I'm gonna be basic and say that I really liked Sonic X as a kid.
Sonic X is great.
However, I also found Sonic Sat AM at Blockbuster when I was a kid, and I was like, wait, he has TV shows too? And I watched that, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. I love this. It was like a mix between like, oh, it's like classic Sonic, but like he takes himself seriously and he's cool. Except I didn't know that there was at the time we didn't have words for like classic and modern Sonic, so I was just like, oh, it's like younger Sonic.
That fuck Sonic.
But yeah, I really need to go back and like watch all of Sat AM because I only, like I said, I was experiencing it through like a Blockbuster VHS, so I only had like a episode or two. But I thought it was like, I was like, oh my gosh, this must have like 30 seasons. It's so good. Only to learn that like, no, it does not.
I was raised on YouTube poops, so my favorite Sonic cartoon was always Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. Purely just, you know, Pingus and all that. But also, I love it for just how fucking shithousey it is.
Yeah.
I think today my favorite Sonic cartoon would probably be Sonic Boom. I think that one gets an unfair rap because it gets tied to the games, but it's such a good show.
I like Sonic Boom, but like it really is more of like it's more in line with the comedic side of Sonic than like what I like from Sonic. Like I like when Sonic's funny, but I also like when there's like an actual kind of like fleshed out plot going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like
Which is why I was so like I loved the Sonic X so much, especially the Metarex saga. I was like, holy shit, this is peak. And I watched it in English dub. I haven't seen the sub yet, but I have the Blu-ray that got released with the sub, so I'm gonna check it out soon.
I've seen
I'm very excited about it.
I've only very recently seen like I've been catching up with Sonic X, and I've only very recently seen like the first half of the first season so far, and I've been really enjoying it. I remember as a kid being alienated, and the reason is fucking wince-worthy, but it was because Sonic talked. When I was a kid, I was alienated by the fact that Sonic could talk. Like, just because
oh my goodness,
I'd only played Sonic 1 and 2. I was one of those guys at that
oh my
point.
gosh,
so relatable.
Unleashed quickly changed it, but I was one of those guys.
Yeah. You know what? I understand that though. We all have our different perspectives on Sonic, and we come together.
Conditioning. It quickly changed.
You know what? I had the opposite thing. I had the opposite reaction because I played Sonic Adventure. This is actually kind of funny. I just remembered this when you said that. I played Sonic Adventure DX on GameCube. That was my first Sonic game. And then later on, when the Wii released, I was on the Wii shop because I was like, what's on the Wii shop now? And I saw Sonic the Hedgehog 1. And I was like, oh, that must be like, yeah, it's the first one, right? I was very smart as a child. And
you can
and I bought it, and I was like, this sucks. Like, where's all the fun stuff and the talking and like all the story and shit? I didn't finish it back then,
So
but now
based.
obviously I like them more.
I do like Sonic 1. It's difficult for me to go back to Sonic 1 after like 2 and 3 though, just because I hate.
Oh yeah. I think Sonic 1 is a great example of like, you know what, they had a pretty solid start. It's not that good of a game, but like it's pretty solid. Like it showcases like this is why Sonic is awesome. And I was like, okay, I got it. The first time I played it was on like it was on like the mobile phone version of like I had like a flip phone type thing with a keyboard on it. And that's how I played it.
That's one hell
Those
of a way
were
to do
good
it.
phones. Dude, I miss physical keyboards on phones. I don't know if anyone else does, but like with a digital keypad on my phone, I mistype words like every time I type because my fingers are too big.
They had something going on there with the BlackBerry. Although the BlackBerry's keys are also really tiny.
Yeah.
Also, they kept double inputting.
But damn it, I'm willing to make it work.
yourself a stylus.
I've thought about it.
Okay, so the next little topic we've got in the meat section is, are the Sonic movies doing enough to represent the games, be it the levels or the characters, etc.? And this kind of, I guess, ties in with a little video I uploaded most recently, which was all of the levels that get some form of representation in the Sonic movies. Because there is a lot more than I think people realize of actual, like, locations that have appeared in Sonic games in those movies. Even if, like, and I know it's kind of a cop-out, but it's like, you look at that one scene from, like, the Sonic 1 movie, where he's running along the Great Wall of China. The Great Wall of China is in Sonic Unleashed. It's adapted, but it is in it. And I do think there was probably a conscientious decision here to include environments that did inspire levels in Sonic games in the past. Like, another example being the pyramids. If you look in the background of Sandopolis in Sonic 3, you can see the pyramids, or you can just go to the pyramids in SA2. It's one of those things where it's like the, you know, very original, very, like, Sonic-only stages. Okay, we don't get as much of that, but I think they have made some kind of smart decisions about some of the Earth locations that they have used in these movies.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I think that they're doing a pretty good job, all things considered, and I know the constraints that they have. But I think if you ask me this question after the third movie drops, then I'll probably say yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is that because I'm an adventure fanboy? Yes. Because don't get me wrong, I like classic Sonic, but I feel like Sonic is so much more than just like the first 3 games. You know what I mean?
I mean, the thing is, though, the main location of Sonic Adventure 2 has already been in a Sonic movie, because, like, the majority of that game takes place in San Francisco. And then, of course, the third act of the Sonic 1 movie, San Francisco. I'm hoping they'll maybe revisit San Francisco for movie 3.
I think that would be great, yeah.
I'm hoping they'll go to space, for definite. If they don't go to space in this one, I'm going to be really confused as to why they didn't take the opportunity to go to space. They haven't been to space yet.
They won't do it, but because I think it would be a little bit too confusing to like child viewers in this day and age. At least what the executives think, they'll be like, it's too confusing. I really hope that they just start the movie with Sonic arrested already. I just it would be so good. We'd skip so much extra scenes that don't need to be there.
To be fair,
and it could be very obvious.
They could do it, because it's kind of like...
I think they could.
Like, Toy Story 3 starts with that dream sequence with Woody, and he's on the rodeo and stuff. And it's like, that didn't confuse kids, because you get the context after the fact. If you open the film up with Sonic's been arrested and then kind of explain why a little later and kind of treat it as that little mystery angle, I think they could. I don't think they will, but I think they could.
I think they could. I think it would be hilarious if they ended the Knuckles series by being like, the after credits singer is like, Knuckles is like, wait, why are you on the phone? And he's like, didn't you hear Sonic got arrested?
No, that's actually a good idea. That's a really good idea, because I kind of agree that starting it off with like maybe not a mystery. I guess it could be like a mystery, even though everyone knows why it's happening. I think that could be fun, and it would be an efficient use of time. And like, not to say they haven't used their time wisely in the previous movies, but we know that there's probably going to be some scenes in the third movie that are dedicated to things that are not Shadow or Sonic related, you know, to like put it in the most neutral way possible. Like, I don't think there'll be another wedding, but like maybe they're going to go to Walmart and like go shopping for a while, and you know, then they cut back to Shadow getting detained or something, or finding emeralds. But I think it would be neat. I don't think they will, but it would be neat to start with something that comes right from the end of the Knuckles show. Because that would be a really smart use of like their connected universe thing they're trying to put together.
And they wouldn't have to waste too many extra scenes being like, oh, Sonic got arrested. Oh, this is what happened when Sonic got arrested. Blah, 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 blah.
Dude, okay, if he does get arrested in the movie, though, I want them to do like the mugshot thing.
Drama, right? Drama. It's Tom that arrests Sonic.
Oh! Wouldn't do that.
I mean, I don't like it because
he definitely wouldn't do that. But oh man, the melodrama that could come from that.
Yeah, part of the reason why I like the Wachowskis in these movies is because they have such a healthy dynamic with each other and with Sonic, so it would kind of kill that. But at the same time, Whoa, you know?
It
Like,
throws away the entire second movie.
yeah, you've given me a lot, Dad. You're under
So
arrest,
funny.
kid.
He pulls his gun on him. He goes, "Don't make me use this, son."
And they scream at each other.
I just genuinely really, and I don't necessarily think that they're gonna go a darker route with the story, but if they do, I will scream. I'll throw my hands in the air. Maria needs to die. She needs to.
Dude,
She can't die of like an illness. She can't die of NIDS and be like Shadow is like they refuse to cure her NIDS. She needs to get shot in the back of the head,
Dude,
blasted on screen.
I think every single person in the history of the Sonic fanbase is on the same page for the first time ever.
Literally,
when
on
it comes
this
to
show,
Maria Robotnik.
we have this hashtag cap that kid. And we've had whole episodes devoted to why we want to see that girl get turned into a fucking meatball by a fucking bullet.
I wouldn't say whole episodes, but there have been discussions for sure.
There was almost an entire episode.
Knowing the Sonic movies, if they go the safe route, it's probably going to be that like, oh, they withheld the cure. They had the cure all along for her disease. And they didn't give it to her.
Or they never.
It is worse.
Far enough because of the raid.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the most like, I guess, I mean, to be fair, we say we want to see this kid get capped off in cold blood. You don't explicitly see it in Sonic Adventure 2. They don't really even show
do a
I
really
don't
good
want
job
to
of
see
it.
that. Like, I don't literally want to see that. I personally do not.
Now hold on.
Yeah, I want to see. I want to see like the left side of her head just kind of drop off. You know, like
and like explode into a million pieces.
Blood everywhere.
Blood everywhere,
like
and that's how Shadow gets
motion.
his red stripes. It's Maria's blood.
No, he's like, I will avenge you.
People like blowing up a watermelon in slow motion.
He puts his fingers in the blood. It's like war paint, you know. Like
I just want to say I don't think that Maria's blood being Shadow's red stripes has ever been a thing that anybody's come up with, and I will lay claim on that because that goes hard as hell.
Blood
and I'm
theory.
just now real. I said it as a joke, and I'm like, dang, that kind of goes kind of hard.
Oh, you're right. That is what happened to Kratos. I think his family doesn't.
Yeah,
the
ashes of his family covered his body.
Yeah, like because wasn't he unintentionally killing them or something, and now like that clings to his skin or something. That's why he's got those lines and stuff.
Yeah. I think so.
That except Shadow. Yeah.
Hashtag blood theory.
That fucking either that or I just thought maybe it's just the thing Maria did. Maybe she like helped dye his quills a little bit because he thought it'd be cool. That could also be
the
like
tame version, but I like the blood idea.
Tame version.
I'm just a little bit sad because it seems like all the adventure stuff is just going to be mushed into like one film when I think like I would love to see chaos stuff. I don't know how. I think that could easily be in like some sort of spin-off thing like Knuckles, but I don't think it's going to be.
I would love to see like perfect chaos on the big screen. I did. How many times I'm gonna say it on this fucking show? This is the thing of when you have.
You
like,
say it every time.
When you have guests every episode, like you're gonna do. I was thinking what they could do though is like if like the idea is that Gerald Robotnik investigated some ruins and stuff, and that's where he got the idea for like Shadow, and in the original we got the idea for the Bio Lizard, and I mean there is a perfect chaos mural in the Labyrinth Zone in Sonic 2, so it could be that maybe he saw that. And maybe, like, he's got those artificial chaoses aboard the Space Colony arc in the games. What if, rather than the Bio Lizard, you just have one of those artificial chaoses go rogue, and then you have a fight with perfect chaos, but it's in space, and he's got the arc up his ass. And it's Sonic Shadow. It's a means to it.
I think mixing the two like that is a really cool idea. Especially because in Sonic Adventure 2, they have those artificial chaos in the arc already.
You can actually pay that off.
Yeah.
Have one of them go rogue. He like takes
and
the chaos
if not,
out.
it could be a what do you call it? A foreshadowing thing too, because obviously we see in the games we see perfect chaos before we see artificial chaoses. Chaos, but this time we could have like, oh, he made these creatures, and then also the next movie or something they go, oh shit, that's like that thing that was up on the arc.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
We are only 2 movies in. They could start setting up stuff for like a payoff later if they really wanted to. Like, if they know that this franchise is going to go on for at least a little bit longer. Like, they could do that. I don't know if they will, but God, it would be cool.
I also,
At this point, it feels like they're very Marvel movie inspired now, so I feel like they could very easily take cues from that because, you know, MCU stuff always does that.
It's one of those things, though, where, like, my concern is I don't like to take for granted that they're necessarily going to continue this version of Sonic after this. Even though I hope they do, one thing that I think does kind of throw a spanner in the works, well, two things, actually. I think, on one hand, we had a miracle happen with Jim Carrey returning for movie 2. And we had a fucking super miracle happen, him returning for 3. I doubt he's going to return for much more than that. Not because I genuinely think, oh, he's retiring. I think that was all just spin. But I just don't see him returning for any more sequels, because it's just he doesn't really usually do sequels, and the fact we got this far is insane. And I think when you have Sonic without Robotnik, because they have said they wouldn't recast Robotnik, it puts the whole thing in a very difficult position, because Robotnik, for a lot of general audiences, is kind of these films' porn star. But at the same time, like, for Sonic fans as well, you often need Robotnik. He's the mainstay of the franchise, and he usually needs to be in there to some capacity. I kind of think they could do, like, a Robo-Robotnik kind of thing, like, get, like, a new Robotnik out of the fucking Robotnik machine or something. But I think what's more likely to happen is, I think especially after the success of the Super Mario Brothers movie, I think Sega and maybe Paramount will have quite itchy feet to get a fully animated, more game-centric Sonic movie franchise in the works. Like, and that would make me very sad, because I do prefer movie Sonic. I really like the world building we've got in these movies, and I love the characterization. And sometimes, you know, when you make it more in line with the games, it doesn't have the same kind of distinctiveness to it. Like, for example, I don't really care for Sonic Prime. I think it's the most mid-Sonic show, and it happens to be the one that is supposedly the one that's in the world of the games. But I do get the sense that they are going to have an itchy trigger finger to reboot this thing and kind of do a Mario movie with it, fully CGI, etc. I don't know what, like, do you reckon that's likely?
I would love to see that. I'm holding my tongue on Prime because I'm just like, oh, whenever it's mentioned, I'm just like, ugh.
It's a boring show. It's really, that's the biggest flaw of it.
If Sonic Prime would be 1,000 times better if it was one season. The fact that it's split up into 3 parts and they like go back and forth between the worlds a bunch of different times. I'm like,
Not even
okay,
that good a world.
they only have like a handful of assets to use. Why did they make it so long? Like, why did they do that?
It can be like,
I've seen some people say, like, they should have just made it into like one, like, movie.
yeah, it's straight to
Almost
streaming
like a
only.
special.
It would have been
Yeah.
interesting.
I think it would have worked better.
Yeah, I like the idea of Tails being kind of like the villain, but I'm gonna be honest, I didn't watch that far because I was getting bored.
Do you care
And
about
I can't
spoilers?
really say that about Sonic stuff. No, I don't really care about
Turns
spoilers.
out it
at
was
this
just a
point.
misunderstanding.
You were correct. It was boring. whole
Yes.
So basically,
Sonic gets up on the big weapon and he's like, you can make a difference.
This isn't
you
you,
can make it
Nine."
right. This isn't you, Ninetales. Oh, Ninetales,
make a
Pokemon.
But yeah, like the whole thing was that basically Tails had every intention of just bringing back Green Hill all along, and Sonic just kind of didn't think to ask him, and Nine didn't think to tell him.
Why did Nine do that?
I don't know, like
Because everyone's
fucking,
stupid.
and that's after like 3 whole episodes of just bonking robots on the head.
Okay, that has got to be one of the most unsatisfying endings to anything. What do you mean? Oh no, I was a good guy all along. I was just kind of fucking with you.
Yeah, like, the thing is,
I know.
like, there were so many opportunities for him to say it. Like, I could understand if, like, maybe it was a theme that, like, in all the bluster of the events, they didn't think to really sit down and talk to each other. But there are so many moments throughout the show where they directly contradict those intentions with what they're saying. Like, Nine outright says, "We're not rebuilding your own world. We're making one in Grimm." But then it turns out, no, he was planning on making one all along. He just didn't think to tell him. It's like, what the fuck?
Dude, I don't even remember that. I think I, like, blocked that out because I was so upset about it.
No, so basically, Sonic sees 2 Green Hill Zone palm trees in there. He's like, "Oh, Nine, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize or appreciate what you were trying to do." And it's like
Oh, I
his
thought he
idea
was just gonna give him like a little patch of land that sort of reminded him of Green Hill. I didn't know if he was gonna make the whole thing again.
Well, Sonic seems to have a moment of having complete raw egg on his face over it, so I think the implication is that he... I mean, it would still be a version of it, though. If he's building it in Grim, it still means that his
the only other
friends
thing is,
are
like,
dead. He's just got copies.
Yeah, no, his friends are dead, but the other thing about it is, at the end of it, 9 is like, well, I'll just fix everything then, the way it was meant to be, and there's no repercussions for anything or anyone.
Yeah.
Like, nothing happens. Like, everything gets put back together, the other shatter spaces don't disintegrate as far as we know.
Well, Sonic
so all of that
becomes,
fighting and stuff is just nothing.
Sonic almost dies, to be fair.
I mean, he's fine, though. Like,
Yeah, he's fine
there's
now.
no repercussion, you know?
I just hate that like a really good modern Shadow representation is trapped in that show.
I agree. Modern
was
Shadow,
good.
like Shadow was the best part of that show.
That fight with Sonic, where he's like getting all the little things from Sonic as he's beating the shit out of him. I was like,
So
I saw footage of that, and I was like, holy shit, is this show goated all of a sudden?
The thing is, though,
And then
in
I
season
watched
3,
more, and I was like, no.
the thing I find so funny is they kept coming up with these contrived reasons for like why he can't appear. And then in season 3, it's like, okay, he can get to the other universe. He just has to take the side door. Then after one episode, he gets knocked in a pit, and he just kind of stays there for like another
stays in the pit, yeah.
another 3 episodes.
Oh, there's an awesome edit where it's like he's down there in the pit when they finally find him. Shadow, you're alive, and he's like, yeah, I've been down here. You know, I can't resist smashing a few Sonics, and then it like zooms in on his face where he smiles.
Dude,
It's like, oh.
They knew what they were doing with some of this dialogue as well. Like, Amy, I can't smash you. Fucking, I just can't stop smashing Sonics. And then when, like, Rebel Knuckles, whatever the fuck he's called, it's just like, I think he loves traps. I'm like, they know what they're doing with this. They must know.
What was I gonna say? There was something in that oh, yeah. I was gonna... Since you haven't seen it, Salty, I think my biggest problem with the ending of it, and I'm doing the thing Pup does, where I'm mentioning the same stuff again, but, like, it's so funny to me that in this whole fight, when he's doing, like, I don't want to call it the Steven Universe thing, because his is actually, like, effective most of the time. But he's doing the Steven Universe thing, like, this isn't you, please don't do this. But there's a point where 9 causes an explosion, and 2 of the other Tails variants are, like, seemingly killed.
Oh, yeah.
And Sonic, he keeps saying, this isn't you, you don't want to do this. And it's
you
like,
can come back from this.
I just want to say, if anyone else did that, and like they are assumed to be dead until they show up, like they're obviously not dead because it's a kids show, but they're assumed to be dead. If anyone else did that, Sonic would be like, "That's it, you're dead. I'm killing you.
Yeah,
like this is me killing you right now."
That's it, I'm killing you.
But then the worst part is as well, in the opener
You know?
for season 3, I also said it with massive air quotes because it was all one season just split up so Netflix could claim it was 3 seasons. But like, at the beginning of it, like there's that bit where Shadow is like, and if he doesn't cooperate, he's mine. And then Sonic's like, no, he's ours. And I think, oh god, is Sonic out for blood? That's awesome. And then he just resumes the whole, 9, I promise this isn't you. Please, please be my friend. And it's like, he just killed 2 other Tailses. What the fuck, man? You would not accept
There's
this.
4 Tailses.
Yeah, like
even.
so many
4 of them.
different
Yeah.
Tailses have been killed by this one.
It's so funny. And I know it's been talked to death at this point, but those flashbacks are so funny. I can't.
Oh.
Especially I remember getting so blindsided when they did that one for the latest season, where
The Sonic Advance.
it has the Sonic Advance one, where it's just a mishmash of sprites and assets.
It's
And-
so bad.
It's so weird because there's so many people who are amazing sprite animators, and you could tell that none of them were on the staff for that show.
Dude, you can literally look at, you ever see, some of those really old GIFs and, certain GIF things where it's, okay, I'm thinking of a very specific GIF that people might not know about, but it's Mario, and it's this Mario 1 sprite, and he slides across the screen, jumps up without, changing at all, and then hits the block, and then gets the mushroom and turns into a different Mario sprite.
Dude,
that's
so retro.
What they did in the show, he was switching between advanced sprites and Mania sprites and Sonic 2, it was so gross.
What I
It
also
looked
find really
Yeah,
weird is the edits they made to Tails' head, because they were using a Sonic 2 sprite, but I guess they tried to change it to make him look more in line with the Prime version or something, but they just gave him this weird Stewie Griffin-ass head shape.
Yeah, oh my god. I think one of the coolest things about those cutscenes being so cutscenes, I'm sorry, flashback scenes being so jank is that so many sprite animators on Twitter and stuff just came out and were like, okay,
Yeah.
I made these but better now.
Yeah.
So you could make an
Like,
amazing
probably less
fan
than half
edit
the
that
time.
just slides those animations in if you really wanted to.
See, truth be told, I didn't initially get it. At first, I was like, I just think it's kind of cool that we're getting a reference to, like, Sonic Advance. Like, I was like, that's fine. Then I saw the sprite animators start to come out and, like, say, no, this is what I could have done. I was like, oh, fuck.
What,
Yeah,
100%, I think they barely realized that it was a Sonic Advance reference.
Yeah.
I feel like the people on the team, because, like, if it was, then they would have had Gemerl, like, leave. But no,
Yeah.
Gemerl explodes
He just
fucking
explodes.
dies.
and dies. I don't even think that they recognized that Gemerl was, like, in the robot.
No, I think they just thought he was part of the machine. Like, it was just, like, something Eggman put
Just a
together.
little design.
Which, I mean, I guess it's fair, because Gemerl really is not that prominent of a character. But
Yeah, it just sucks because until Sonic Prime came out, like, obviously, I have to preface this by saying, like, the people on that show worked really hard and they did a really good job with what they were given.
Absolutely.
But up until Sonic Prime, I was totally down for every Sonic thing to be, like, in the same canon going forward. And then that show happened and I was like, I'm just gonna ignore that.
yeah,
Which
do not
thankfully-
put this anywhere.
Thankfully, the best part about it is that it pulls a Sonic 06 by the end, right? Like, it just kind of doesn't matter.
There's that. Also,
Doesn't
I think
matter.
Ian Flynn, who's obviously, like, the granddaddy of all Sonic stories right now, like, all the official stuff.
And the person that everybody complains about as if, like, like, anything that he says is, like complete gospel at all times.
True, but, like, he did kind of say on Twitter, and there we go. I kind of said that, it takes place in the game canon because I'm trying to, not to snip the legs off of this show, but it is as canon as you want it to be. Basically, is kind of what he said. And I was like, well, there you fucking go then. So, like, I think the whole thing, the thing as well, though, like, I wasn't so much worried about, what effect will this have on continuity. I was more just excited for the idea of a Sonic TV show, taking place in the Sonic game universe, because that's just an exciting idea. And I was like, even if it does take place in the game universe, we're spending the majority of the time in other dimensions where we have these OC mishmash characters rather than the actual people I want to see from a Sonic TV show. So I was like, it kind of doesn't mean beans to me if this Sonic is meant to be the same Sonic that was in Frontiers. It doesn't fucking matter because, like, we don't have any of that world building or any of those supporting casts that make those stories kind of good. Like, you get Eggman wrong in a Sonic thing. I feel like a Sonic thing is only as good as Dr. Eggman in a lot of instances. And Sonic Prime's version of Dr. Eggman was fucking embarrassing. Like, Mr. Dr. Eggman.
I just
Eggman.
the fact that they call him Mr. Dr. Eggman unironically makes me laugh, because that is I like being overly verbose like that. Like, I think that's funny. But the fact that it's not a joke and it's just like that's just his name, I'm stuck in between thinking that's really funny and really stupid. And there's also the thing where you were, like, talking about Dr. Deep the other time on the show, and I was like, who are you talking about?
Yeah.
I didn't even know what you were referring to.
Dr. Deep, the hip new Sonic character that's just Eggman, but with, like, blue hair and pronouns.
I was like, who is this? Who are you? And then I was like, oh, because I was like, is he called Dr. Deep because he's from the ocean dimension? And it's like, no, he's not. He's just deep, like...
No, that's
like,
just
wow,
what
that's
his name
deep,
is, I
bro.
guess.
He got a deep egg
like...
pussy.
Huh?
Got a deep pussy.
Huh? What?
Sorry, it wouldn't be an episode without me saying something about that kind of effect.
Bringing up pussy?
Egussy.
Egussy.
Oh.
Got it.
He's called Dr. Deep because he goes extra deep.
Ha!
Yeah.
Ha ha!
Oh, I'm gonna throw up.
But anyway, Sonic Prime stinky. But I feel like they're kind of on the right track. Like, if we could get a show that looks like that isn't constrained to, like, 3 locations and a can of soup, then that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if we
no,
could,
I
like,
agree.
get
And I
that
also think
animation
keep the
team
voice
back.
actors 100% sure.
I'd
Keep
still-
the
Oh,
voice
yeah.
actors. They were
The
amazing.
voice actors did a great job.
Yeah,
Like
get
I
the-
love oh my gosh, I forget his name, but the voice for Sonic and Prime I
Devin
really
Mack.
like. Yeah,
Yeah,
Devin Mack is really good.
Get the Prime cast back and get the animation team back and have them do something that is strictly set in the Sonic universe we know and love and isn't just one story stretched out over 3 seasons.
Yeah, like do one season. Like
Start
I
there.
did not realize that Prime was going to be a story that was split up across 3 different seasons. Like in theory, that's cool, but
I don't think
only
they
when
noticed
you
either.
have more than 3
thought-
locations and a can of soup. Like I said.
The thing is, you couldn't even take, like, say, a story like Sonic Adventure 1 or 2. You couldn't even take that and stretch out into 3 seasons of television. You could make maybe 1 miniseries, or you could make a feature film. But you can't... Like, that's the thing, is even some of the best Sonic stories wouldn't necessarily work as 3-season-long shows made up of 6 episodes. Like...
Yeah, unless you're the Metal Virus Saga. That shit was long, but I love that, so...
I do like it, but I
That
think
would
it's a little
be
too long in spots, and I
crazy.
think it would probably run into that same issue if they...
Oh
were to
yeah,
do it as a show.
definitely. It kind of lost steam a little bit near the end, but it powered through with Super Silver. I was like, oh my god. Oh my
That
god,
was
Super
I
Silver.
was so hyped up, man.
I was like, oh
It
my
was
god, I
also the
never
fact
thought I'd
that-
see you. We got my baby boy.
I know. I was so happy too because it was like that was a very much a story that pushed Sonic to his limits, and they don't
Oh,
do
I
that
love
very
that
much.
stuff.
They're not allowed to
Yeah.
do that. You know,
And,
like
you
I
know,
love that scene.
I love zombie stories, especially when they're applied to stuff that I'm already into. So it's getting to see like basically a Sonic zombie apocalypse story that like treats itself as canon with all of these like main series
Yeah.
characters
It's
was really
believable.
cool. Yeah, and they stretched it pretty hard. Like they got away with a lot of really cool shit, which I would never like.
They tortured Cream the Rabbit.
Yeah, they tortured Cream the Rabbit.
Like, and
my
what I was gonna
God.
say is like the scene specifically that I really liked was I loved that part where Sonic meets up with Eggman when it's so far into the plague at this point, and Sonic's having a lot of trouble justifying his ideals of like why do I not just infect you right now? You know, like with my own 2 hands and leave you to rot here. But he
Oh my
still
God,
doesn't
yeah.
because he's still holding on. But then after that, I think that's the part where he's like, because there's that one section where he's so close to just giving up and like taking it, and then I think something snaps him out of it, so he like he gets back to business. But like that shit's so cool because like I don't know why Sega's so afraid of him showing any emotion other than confidence, but it's like that's what I want to see.
He's a
Seeing
fun
like
character.
yeah, one of the best parts about that arc is seeing like and the most impactful is seeing Sonic get tired. Like
Yeah. I know that
when
there's-
he gets exhausted, that's how you know, oh, shit is bad.
Yeah,
It
definitely.
is
Same thing.
bad.
I know that Sega likes to move in the direction of, like, you know, Sonic's spirit is so unbreakable that it's like you could murder Tails in front of his eyes and he'd still be like, alright. But it's like, that's a fucking psychopath. Like, that's...
Okay.
Hey, man, that's pretty cool.
Pretty
Let's
cool.
play again sometime.
Oh, shoot! Wow,
Oh,
they got
shoot.
Tails! Alright.
Okay, I'm sad. All right.
Uh-oh.
Eggman's
I'm gonna
committing
cry about that
genocide.
later.
Whoa, this should be fun.
Apologies for another derail, but on that topic, I really hope that the Frontiers style of Sonic kind of becomes more of a thing going forward, because
Definitely.
seeing him talk like a normal fucking person for once was amazing,
I did.
and it
Oh, that
gave
reminds
so
me.
much more depth
Right,
to his character for me.
I want to hear you guys' thoughts on this because I saw someone basically. So in the Japanese dub, or say dub, in the Japanese version of Sonic Frontiers, particularly like the scenes where like the friends are all like, "Oh, I need to go off on my own like adventures and stuff like that." The Japanese version doesn't imply that they're all going to go their separate ways. In the Japanese version, Amy's just like, "Man, I don't feel very happy with myself. I'm gonna fix it." And Sonic's like, "I support you," and it happens throughout all the fucking stories.
Aw.
But I saw someone say, I prefer the Japanese version because in the Tails story, after Tails says, I need to go off on my own for a while, Sonic says, it's gonna take some getting used to, but here's to you reaching new heights. someone said Sonic would not take that mentality with it. He wouldn't be like, oh, it's going to take getting used to. He's always optimistic about the future, so he'd just be like, yeah, go get him, Tail. I'm like, man, no, I like moments like that because it takes him from being a mascot who's positive about everything to actually feeling like a proper guy, an actual guy, you know? He can still be a beacon of hope and justice and all that shit, but like...
Yeah, I like the implication that he'll miss his friend.
Yeah.
Even though he's pretty like free-spirited and he does
reasonable
whatever he wants. Like I think the thing is that like Sonic likes when he can come and go. I don't think he likes when other people can. And I feel like that makes him more interesting.
They're not going to do it, but
No,
I'd actually love it if we followed up on the story of Frontiers in the next game, in the next mainline game. Amy's gone off on her little journey, Tails has gone off on his own little journeys, and we've got like maybe a little theme of like Sonic feeling a little isolated.
I mean, you know, that's kind of the opener to Sonic Adventure, where everybody comes back together after being separated for a bit.
Yeah.
And that shit was cool. And you know, speaking of, we have stuff like Heroes that like immediately it has plot threads that then go into Shadow the Hedgehog, which I thought was so cool as a kid. That there was like they set up a mystery in Heroes with shadow androids, and then they followed up on that story arc. And you know, now that everything is kind of becoming like crossovers, plots that go on a long time across multiple things, I would love to see Sonic do something like that, especially because they have a clear, really cool setup for the next game of like people coming together again after being like kind of like off on their own little adventures for a bit.
This time it really is long time no see.
It's also very Dragon Ball Z of them, because like I don't necessarily love that in Dragon Ball Z, how sometimes they're like, wow, it's been 8 years since I've seen my friends.
I think it would be so cool though if like,
you know, within reason. Like it's cool if they go do their own thing.
In like the next mainline game, like you have one game where Tails, Amy, and Knuckles, they can still like be there via like, I don't know, Miles Electric Zoom calls effectively. That way their voice actors are still getting paid and stuff. But like have a game where it's like Sonic is going on a different adventure, he's got a different crew together. It would be so cool if you did like the Frontiers thing again, where you have a character, like, you know, an environment surrounding a specific character. But rather than Tails, Knuckles, and Amy, you could have maybe Shadow, Silver, and Blaze or something like that. That would be awesome. Like, I would love to have
some IDWs in there.
Center around those characters, you know?
Yeah, I think my only thing about Forces that I actually didn't like, and like a lot of people were like, oh, they reference stuff too much, and I'm like, actually, I'm okay with that, even if it's corny, because it at least shows that they're starting to care again.
Yeah.
My one thing was like when they just kind of haphazardly were like, "Oh yeah, no, Styx the Badger exists," and I'm like, "Okay."
Or Tangle as well.
You're gonna have to follow up on that.
But at least with Tangle, right? Like we know, like we have seen Tangle in the modern canon.
Yeah,
she's in the IDW, whereas Styx hasn't appeared
we've seen her in IDW, so we know what her design looks like and stuff like that, and how they met her. We don't know anything about Styx. Styx just exists now, and there's no explanation for like. I just would have loved to know how they met her and stuff like that.
I'm hoping that this is stuff that will be elaborated on. It's one of those things where I was happy to hear, like, because I tried to start a little hashtag on Twitter, dicks out for Styx. It was kind of my answer to rally for Sally. But, like, I really wanted Styx to come back, because, again, big fan of the Boom version of the brand. And when they mentioned Styx, like, my fucking heart skipped a bit. I was like, oh my god, Boom? Canon? What? But don't tell me she exists if I'm not going to get to see her. Don't just name it. I want to actually get this followed up on.
I would really like if the IDW comics like reintroduced Styx as a new character, and we got like a proper introduction to her and like this new canon that they're working with. Because if that was the case, I would be totally fine with it.
She was in Mario and Sonic.
To be honest, like, I don't think. Yeah, actually, she was in the Olympic Games. You're right, but Mario's also in those, so I don't know if that's.
But dubiously canon, like,
there's not like a huge reason for Sonic Boom to have not happened in the main canon, right? Like, I mean, I know the characters look different, but they could always just say like,
art style.
I was going through a phase.
You know, I just don't.
Or I mean, Knuckles I just don't. Too. You know what I mean?
I just don't really like the idea of Boom being canon to the main thing.
I don't want it either, but I feel like they could just be like, because the thing I was getting from Frontiers.
Like maybe
plus like in Boom, Shadow does have no backstory. Like they just never gave him a backstory.
Yeah, he's
So
just a shithead
it does
for no
still
reason.
slide in. Like there's no conflict. There's no major conflicting parts.
There's
Yeah,
not like a
I mean-
massive contradiction in there, but I would say it would be. I mean, I say it would be jarring to say that the Boom stories happen because the characterization, but it's kind of jarring to say fucking colors happened in that case. Because
Yeah, no, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, like, the reason I was so interested in the story and stuff and the setup of Frontiers is that, like, especially if you look at Tales, they say, or, you know, like, it is said in the story that, like, we've all changed so much, we've had so many different, like, it was interesting to me that they were trying to say, like, hey, everything still happened, and it's sort of realistic, because, like, everyone in the world, each one of us, has been different. You know, we've been different people throughout our entire lives, and sometimes we can feel drastically different than how we used to be or how we are going to be in the future. And that's what I liked about that, because they're saying, like, Sonic, am I even reliable? Like, am I totally worthless? Like, I know I used to be great, but then things happened and I kind of got turned into a coward. And he's like, it's good that you know that. You need to work on some things, and that's what we're all doing.
stop
So,
being
like,
little pussy tail.
if Boom was canon, then that's like, it's just one of their, like, shithead moments, you know? Like, they just had a phase where they were doing Seinfeld for a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
I
like,
still
crazy things happen.
I don't need to go into it, but I still think that Tails having a PTSD meltdown in Forces was not necessarily out of character. And a lot of people think it is, but
Yeah,
They
like
need to explore it as well.
dude thought Sonic died in front of his eyes.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like,
And you know that did happen similarly in Adventure 2, but he didn't see Sonic get the shit beaten out of him. He saw him get shot out of an airlock. I really doubt that he was like, "Oh no, he's definitely dead." He was like, "No, Sonic's epic. He can do it." But saw Sonic get like dogged on by like 4 different dudes.
yeah,
I
and then
think
taken
the
away.
thing with
Yeah, and then take it away.
the thing with how like Forces does it is it just doesn't explore any of it enough. Like it.
Yeah, no,
that's
it
the
doesn't.
thing is they don't
It doesn't.
tie Tails's thing in there with it's PTSD and stuff like that. It's just never and even then, I see no reason for any of them to believe Sonic was dead there. He just got kind of a bit beat up. Like he's fine.
Well, the thing is that like in comparison to SA2, it was a very quick thing, and you could tell that Tails probably like you could easily justify saying that he had a lot of adrenaline, and he also knew that Sonic would probably be okay,
It's
and
a good way
he
to
did
go.
get
He had
that
to
relief
protect Amy,
shortly
too.
after. Like Sonic was fine. But then in Forces, he's gone for like 6 months, and the last time that Tails saw him, he got the shit beaten out of him. He probably thought he was dead.
It could have been even in the immediate aftermath of Sonic's
It's
death.
realistic. Eggman kills him too.
Yeah,
Like,
but,
like,
like,
why?
Yeah, Tails
wouldn't
was
he?
probably fine for a while, but like
Yeah.
the more he thought about it, the more he's like, "Oh shit, no, he's like
Yeah,
dead."
Also,
Yeah,
like
like,
the
my
SAT
best friend
stuff
is dead.
very
presentations of
interesting,
war
too,
and all
because
that.
And
like
then he-
right after he beats Eggman in SA2, he's like, Sonic, I did it, and he looks so sad, right? Because that's like you were saying, the adrenaline's wearing off. Like he's now getting the
Yeah.
point where he's like, oh my god, my brother figure who has been there for me for like all of this time is dead. So he's getting
Yeah.
sad, and Sonic radios in, hey, look outside, dude. I
But
live.
he's fine, yeah. There's not enough time for it to really set in. But with like Forces, even though it's not explored, like him being dead for 6 months after like so many adventures probably
Fucking
like
anybody
really fucked him up.
Why the
Especially
fuck am I
'cause the
coming away
world
from
get
this
turned
episode feeling
upside down
a
as
little better
well.
about Forces?
Yeah. Listen,
not trying to defend
I
it.
hate Forces,
Not
but there's
defending.
so many things about it that I'm just like, oh my god. Like
I get, yeah, you
either
gotta give it
I
credit where
think
it's due. Like,
yeah, I give it credit where it's due, and I still want Infinite to come back because I feel
me
like
too, me too.
he was done so dirty, and he was such a
What do you
cool
mean? He's in
idea.
Speed Battle.
I want, you know what I want them to do?
No,
I want them to do a really cool, like, fucking redemption story for Infinite where, like, Shadow has, like, a fucking epiphany and he's like, oh, I gotta admit, like, I also had some kind of input on this war going on because I could have dealt with you the way Sonic would have, with kindness and shit. And he's like, I'm gonna take you under my wing, you're gonna join Team Dark and we're gonna be pals, and it'll be so cool. It'll be great.
That would be an interesting way to take things, because I don't think Infinite would go along with that
Oh, he
unless
wouldn't
he
at
had no
first.
choice.
He wouldn't at first, but he'd be, after a while, he'd be like, all right, fuck it, you know, fuck it. Shadow's just like,
I'm a hero now.
I'm gonna do for you what fucking Amy and her friends did for me. I'm gonna fucking give you a chance.
That'd be cool. I'd like that.
It'd just be a cool Shadow story, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just like any characters that have a connection with Shadow. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a big Shadow fanboy. I thought that Mephiles literally being Shadow's Shadow is such a cool idea,
Yes.
and
Yes.
The
it's
coolest.
just it's so fucking cool. And then Infinite being kind of similarly like Shadow, set up to kind of be Shadow's rival, and then that kind of being dropped, and I'm like, no, it's so
It could have been cool.
Dropped in favor of doing nothing with the character instead.
But I desperately,
Yeah.
I want Shadow to meet Sage, and I want for her to refer to him as Uncle Shadow because, like,
Aw.
they would have stuff in common in that, like, you know, Shadow
wouldn't
is...
it be Grunkle Shadow?
It
Now
would be.
that you
Yeah,
mention,
because
maybe.
Eggman, I think, Shadow's technically Eggman's uncle, I think.
Okay,
Because
all right.
he's,
By
uh,
It's like
technicality,
great Uncle Shadow then. But like, it would be cool because like Shadow on one hand, he's like part a creation of one of the Robotniks. He's part a creation of aliens in that, you know, the Black Doom and all that shit, the blood. And then Sage is part creation of Robotnik in that the AI is Robotnik, part creation of aliens in the Ancients because it was the cyberspace that manifested her human form. So they could kind of have a bond over that kind of thing. Also, there's like that kind of Robotnik family tree kind of stuff, and I just like the idea that during all this kind of battle and stuff, Sage is maybe the one person Shadow wouldn't be so vicious with, or would be a little protective over, because he kind of maybe sees a bit of himself in her, or a bit of Maria Robotnik in her as well.
I mean, didn't Eggman say in one of his audio logs that like Sage kind of reminded him of Maria a little bit?
Yes, so I'm
Yeah.
hoping that we can maybe
Yeah.
pay that off with Shadow having a dynamic with Sage. I think that could be really, really cool storytelling.
Agreed. I would love to see
I think-
that.
Sage, I think, has like the most potential for, and I hate that word sometimes because people use it to justify things being better than they are when they aren't. But like, Sage, I think, has the biggest amount of potential for character interactions that we've had from a character in this series in a long
I
time.
think it's why
And
people
we
find
just
it so
need to be able to
I
use
agree.
it.
I really want Sage to appear in like the IDW comics soon because I'm dying to know how she would interact with other characters.
Have her meet Belle.
Oh my, that's
Oh.
something I actually was thinking about.
That would hurt.
When like I think I mentioned that actually on stream when I was first playing the game. I was like, man, I would love to like see an interaction between Sage and Belle where like Belle was created under completely separate circumstances, but they are kind of one and the same, but on opposite sides of the spectrum. Like,
Yeah.
oof, that would go so crazy because there is
yeah.
already a lot of stuff with Belle set up in the comics, so I would really like to see how that
could
would
even
play
have
out.
like, why does
think it would
Robotnik
sting
treat
a lot.
Sage well, but not Belle? Like Belle could kind of blame
Yeah.
herself for it. It could be such an
I
interesting.
bet Belle would feel like shit.
Yeah, it could be
I'd feel
such
like,
an
dude,
interesting
come on.
story.
Yeah, torture Belle in the comics again. Do it
But
again.
there's a lot of kids that would also kind of relate to that as well, though, because, like, you know, you can sometimes get, like, abusive parents that treat one kid well and not the other, and that kid goes their life blaming themselves for it. I feel like Belle could kind of connect with that demographic on a very
Yeah.
kind of important basis, you know? Like, I feel like that could be an important story for Sonic to tell.
Yeah, I agree.
My expectations
God.
aren't
It would
fucking
also-
high, are they? Like, fucking hell.
It would
Yeah,
also mean like there would need to be some kind of resolution between Eggman and Belle, and I feel like with the way Eggman is in the comics right now, and without Sage, like it almost feels like IDW and like at first it felt like they were going to be the same canon, right? Because it went right from Forces,
Yeah.
but now that
Yeah.
it's been so long without acknowledging Frontiers, and I don't know if they will. It feels very strange to me that the same guy that would make the metal virus and like fuck the world over so bad would also be like, I have a daughter now, and I love her. Like, you know,
hey,
like, 'cause he's
we
like,
love a king who can change.
I'm fine
listen.
with him changing. I would be fine with that.
Maybe it is the fact, though,
Listen,
that,
listen.
like,
If the comics can make the Zeddy actually kind of cool, then the games can make Eggman from a sociopathic maniac to kind of a daddy.
With Dad.
it can also help,
Yeah.
though, that, like, I mean, Belle loved Mr. Tinker, but she doesn't love Eggman for who he is. She loves Mr. Tinker and wants Mr. Tinker back. Whereas Sage loves Dr. Robotnik for who he is. And that's something that
Mhm.
Robotnik hasn't
True.
really experienced before. So this is the kind of thing that could, well, awaken a new side to Dr. Robotnik, that more sentimental side. Like, because even though he's got kind of like a familial bond with Metal Sonic, Like, Metal Sonic doesn't love him or express love for him in the same way Sage does. Not to mention, like, that component is brought in by the Ancients' technology. He just designed her as an AI. It was the Ancients that allowed her to kind of deviate from that programming. So, like, he's been given something that isn't just something he's designed. It's someone else, someone who legitimately loves him for who he is. And that is such an interesting new dynamic to throw in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's never had that before. That song at the end.
I find it fascinating that at the beginning of the game, he pretty much just treats her as every creation that he's ever had, but then by the end, he literally does call her like his daughter.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, 100%.
So sweet. Oh god. Oh, I'm thinking about the ending again.
I love Sonic Frontiers so much.
Up, dude. Oh,
the game
I was so upset.
The game made of sticks and chewing gum, but I love that game so much.
I'm so glad the ending, like the Final Horizons made me so emotional.
Soti, didn't you say that you're trying to avoid spoilers?
I'm not gonna spoil it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna spoil it.
No, it's okay. It's okay if I get spoiled on one or two things.
Do you know Sage's fate in Final Horizon?
What was that?
Do you know Sage's fate in Final Horizon? What happens?
I believe I do. I think it's just the opposite of the main story, where like she does get to exist.
Okay, all right.
But I mean, like
right
at the same time, in the main story, they do have that after credits scene that implies that she will continue existing. So it's like it's not really that much of a spoiler.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of safe to assume
it's different
that
the fact that he doesn't need to remake her.
The story
like her programming is like in her programming is more, it doesn't need to be repaired, sort of thing.
I would be intrigued to see where they would have gone with that version of the story, because like it could have been that maybe with Robotnik going back to the drawing board and resurrecting Sage, it could have been that he's going to make her more obedient, more vicious, more evil, or something like that. Whereas
I don't know if he would.
No,
I feel like he was more about like
story.
I need her back. I need to make her just exist again.
Well, I thought they could do like quite an interesting story where it's like Robotnik is back to kind of controlling Sage in this version, and then you kind of have almost like a kind of an abuse allegory in that, like, you know, Sage doesn't really have free will in that regard. But they're obviously not going down that route now, because that version of the story doesn't appear to be canon anymore, and just Sage will continue existing as she was. However, I mean, as it is, the game, Final Horizon, without spoiling too much, it does make it more believable that Eggman and Sage could continue to be a villainous force going forward. Whereas before it was like, you know, Sage would, you know, probably redeem Robotnik, you know? Okay, so, we're gonna go on to the next topic, just because I don't know how much time we have, but, so, this is an instance of where I've been kind of ratioed on Twitter, sort of. I mean, I wasn't ratioed, but kind of might as well have been.
Let's get into this. Okay, I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
This will inspire a discussion today. So I put out a little post, because there has been kind of like a sentiment that I've seen some folks saying that Sonic 3 shouldn't introduce many new characters, that it should maybe just stick with Shadow, because it would be too much for the movie if you were to add in like Rouge and Amy and stuff like that, that it would be kind of too much for movie 3 to handle. And I put a little thing out there saying like, you know, people are like, how can you fit them in? And I was kind of like, well, the way the Super Mario Brothers movie fit in pretty much everyone from the games. I mean, with a few minor exceptions. And I do not disagree with what the folks who are kind of disagreeing with me with. You know what? So you say you give your take on this. I know you want.
Yeah, it's a good sentiment. Yeah, I understand what you were saying, but as somebody who, and this is, this sort of sentiment gets me flamed a lot. I did not actually finish watching the Mario movie because I was watching it on my own just for fun, and I got halfway through and I was like, I don't like this. So then I just stopped watching. And I don't really do that with like movies, like, or TV shows. I always stick it out till the end, but like I just like specifically the only two in recent memory that I've ever done that with are the Mario movie and Sonic Prime. And Prime I at least finished season 1.
Yeah. I mean, out of curiosity, do you like Mario in general? Like,
yeah, I love Mario.
Oh, okay, interesting. Okay, because like my kind of take on the Mario movie is I feel like it's as good of a Mario movie as I could ask for, but it's a Mario. It's not necessarily a great movie. It's a great Mario movie, in my opinion. Like, I think, like,
Yeah.
it gives me everything that I, as someone who likes Mario, would want out of a Mario movie, but it doesn't give me the things I would necessarily want out of a really good film. It doesn't give me, like, great character beats,
Exactly.
or a great story, or great pacing.
I think it does really good in terms of representation. Like, I would love if the Sonic movies had that level of representation. The only problem is that it felt very overstuffed, and they had to. It's so fast.
I would not, like, put it this way, I would not want them doing with, like, say, Tails what they did with Luigi in that movie. Like, so...
Oh, yeah.
The reason I kind of brought up the Mario movie was simply because it's another example of a video game movie, but it is one where they went all in on the cast, basically. That was why I used that as an example. Because I will say this. One of the things that works so well about the Sonic movies is that they have really strong characterization for the Sonic characters. Like, I think,
I agree.
Movie Sonic is probably my favorite version of Sonic. I love Movie Tails. Movie Knuckles single-handedly restored Knuckles' reputation, and I really like
he's not
Movie
stupid
Robotnik
anymore, he's just cool.
So I do not want them...
He's a bit stupid, but in like a fun,
He's still
cute
stupid,
way.
I like that
He's like an
more
alien kind of
evil, though. He's a bit more vicious than Game Robotnik generally is. And I'm not really necessarily thinking about IDW here, because obviously Metal Virus is on quite a massive scale. But it's like, I do not believe Jim Carrey's Robotnik would even team up with Sonic to fight Perfect Chaos. Or it's going to be very interesting to see if they're going to do like the Biolizard thing and the Space Colony arc, whether or not Jim Carrey's Robotnik will come around. And it will probably be really cool if he does, because it will be kind of even more unprecedented. Because this Robotnik is someone that Sonic would be willing to fucking kill. Like, we've seen that he's willing to do it in Sonic 2.
He already tried, yeah.
Yeah, he straight up fucking gave it a go, you know? Fucking vengeful hedgehog. But, so what I kind of meant was, like, I think there's not really a reason why they can't go a little more all-in with this. Because I hear it a lot about, like, superhero movies as well. People say, like, you know, oh, this Spider-Man movie's gonna have too many villains and stuff like that. It's like, it's a matter of pacing. You can pace it. You can work these things in. With good writing, you can get these characters in there. And I don't believe in the notion that we should introduce Sonic characters one character at a time and then wait for another movie before doing, say, Amy Rose, because we should not take for granted that this incarnation of the Sonic movies universe is going to last much longer. Like, again, it's kind of a miracle it got this fucking far. And I'm glad it did. I'm really fucking glad it did. But, like, it's... Movies have fucking characters. And I suppose a much better example of kind of a movie that introduces quite a big cast or an expanded cast would be Toy Story 2, where you've got all the cast of Toy Story 1 back, but now you've got pretty major additions in Jessie, the Prospector, Bullseye, Zurg, Wheezy. Like, you've got a lot of new cast here. You've got new Barbies and stuff like that. And it's all paced very well, you know? So I kind of think... I don't believe we should shy away. Like, if they do release a Sonic 3 and it doesn't have Amy and Rouge in it, I'm not going to write it off. A good movie's a good movie. But I don't think... I reject the notion that they shouldn't, you know?
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, if they don't try, then that's a missed opportunity. If they try it and it doesn't work out, then it's unfortunate, but it's good that they tried it, because these are characters that people have been wanting to see, and also someone like Rouge, and I mean even Amy to some degree, is super important for the story of SA2 and for Shadow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
it does depend how far they're going to go in the adaptation, because even though like Sonic 2 was an adaptation of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, it was still quite a loose one. You don't have things like the Death Egg in there, but like all the characters that make that story are at least present. I don't feel like it should be that difficult to bring them in. I think if they are doing the, you know, Shadow gets redeemed by one of them and they're going to go that route with that story, it would be sad to have it not be Amy, because in Sonic X, she didn't get that moment because it goes to Chris. And I listen, I like Sonic X plenty from what I've seen, but it doesn't feel right to me, because I feel like that moment is her defining moment. Because, like, Amy's defining trait is kind of that she's compassionate, you know? Like, she doesn't, you know, go up and beat up fucking E102 Gamma. She talks to him. she treats him like a person. And in this instance, in Sonic Adventure 2, it's her treating Shadow like a person. She's not treating him like a problem that needs to be solved. She's just talking to him. And that's what kind of gets him to come around. I think that is her defining moment, and it would be so sad if we got another adaptation that robbed her of it. Does it make it a bad movie? No, but it will always be kind of a blemish on the history of this character, as far as I'm concerned. And I don't think it should be too difficult to introduce her, because I think she could have more to do in that story than just that. You could say that she's another hedgehog roaming the earth that's kind of lampooned there in a similar way to how Sonic was, so she sees him as a kindred spirit, but because Sonic's grown up a bit, he's with his boys, he's kind of a man of action now, you know? He doesn't believe in all that mushy stuff. And so he's kind of like, okay, Amy, you just hang back, let us do the work. And then maybe by the end, when she's talked Shadow around, he's like, I guess you were fucking right. Compassion wins all the time. I guess I don't need to fucking throw punches at this guy. You know, that could work perfectly fine. And Rouge, the work's already done. You've introduced Gun. How funny would it be if after they were hunting down Sonic in the second film, they just happen to have their own fucking alien that they didn't tell anyone about? That would be funny. You know?
I don't notice.
I once again quote a tweet that I made where I basically said, the moment that they introduce Rouge in the Sonic movies is that is going to mark the downfall of society as a whole.
Well,
and I can't wait because I love Rouge. People know I love Rouge.
Not as much as me.
No.
She's stunning.
There's gonna be a fight.
No, get off my back.
She is my wife.
No.
Yes. Pooge is a thing.
No.
Pooge is a thing.
No.
Ooh.
No.
We're gonna have to have like a polyamorous intervention.
No, I don't accept that. I am not poly. But like,
Rouge belongs to the people.
No, I don't accept this.
Well, it's too bad.
I'm gonna change her.
You sound
Change her?
dismayed.
Yes.
You're dismayed that was just said.
Oh
No.
my god.
Okay, but
That's so funny.
no, so what's going to be really interesting is when, like, I think, look, as much as I love Rouge's body, it makes sense that they covered it up in Sonic Prime, and they will probably inevitably do
That's
that.
such a fucking wild statement to make.
I knew it as I was saying it, but, like, they will probably cover it up in movie 3, and I'm just waiting for, like, the grifter tubers to be like, Sonic 3 goes woke, SJW Rouge. I can't wait. I cannot wait. It's gonna be so fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. I feel like that's definitely like I can already see all the videos.
I'm
Can
running
you
the poll
believe
again.
it?
I'm
They're
running
making
the,
it so woke.
running the poll. Which ship is canon?
Ooh.
Saltouge or Pooge?
Saltouge or
Right.
Pooge.
Vote
This
Pooge,
is
everybody.
big because when polls run on this channel, they are fact,
They are
not
legally
not
binding.
like a.
Unless no, it might not be legally binding after all. It probably
Yeah.
isn't legal.
He's going
Yeah.
back on it.
Right
Oh.
now, it's not legally binding.
Uh-oh. That's a pretty.
End poll,
Oh,
stop
wow.
the count. Stop the count. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Legally binding.
I hate
Great.
you.
Yep.
Well,
It's what
that
it
was
is.
a pretty good use of the poll, dude.
I won. Thank you.
Weaponized poll.
Weaponized poll.
That's sorry, Soti. That's just democracy. I'm afraid.
I hate democracy.
You don't even live in a democracy, Puff.
What do you mean? Wait. What?
Isn't it a monarchy?
No. Oh my God, Dylan. No. We still
Oh my
have,
god.
We still have democracy in England.
Do you?
Yeah. The Royals are a tourist attraction. They don't have any.
Do you-
kind of-
Oh,
they
Do you
not
guys have
any-
cars over there?
We have cars. We have all of it, but we don't have Wendy's.
Horses?
Actually, no. We do have Wendy's. Yeah. We got horses. Yeah.
Okay, that shit's crazy.
Oh yeah, they got everything. I guess they got horses and Wendy's.
We don't have Arby's.
Wait, someone in the chat, Accelerate, said it's a constitutional monarchy. I don't know what that means.
I don't know either. But the thing is, okay. So
That's
right,
Sonic. I don't have to know what that means.
if the fucking Prime Minister of England wanted to make an executive decision, they could go and get royal approval. But it's not something they generally do, and the royals have to be impartial when it comes to politics. So we still live in a democracy, kinda.
All right, so what I'm hearing is I'm not completely wrong.
You are wrong.
I don't know. You just said you said
Okay,
it's
look,
not
put it this way: we didn't vote in our previous prime minister or our most recent prime minister or the one before. Actually, no, yeah, the one before that we did. But
Sounds like not a democracy.
you vote the party, and then they pick the leader. Kinda. Sometimes depends who gets fired. It sucks. All right, it sucks. Politics.
I think no matter where you are, it sucks. I don't think we're a democracy either, to be honest.
What sort of characters do you guys want to see in Sonic 3? That's a good segue, right?
I want to see the president of the United States.
You want to see
Yes.
Joe Biden? Oh my god, yes.
I want Joe Biden in Sonic 3, yes.
I want Joe
so
Biden to have
funny.
Sonic and Shadow on his desk.
On his desk, yes, exactly. And he'd be like, I love Super Mario. They'll save the world.
They'll
No,
save
that's
the
not what
world.
movie you're in.
You could
They'll
have an
save the
in-
princess.
You could have an in-universe reason for why he just keeps talking over Sonic and Tails while they're in the limo. Is just because he's Joe Biden, you know? He's
Go,
He
go,
can't-
my psionic
he doesn't know
Italians, go.
zap to the extreme.
Zap
Oh, I
to the
love that
extreme, my
song.
Italians.
On that Super Mario Brothers 3 game, that was my favorite Sonic the Hedgehog classic game.
Sonic the Hedgehog is a franchise that can be described in a single word. As a
Ice cream.
I just talked to Gerald Robotnik the other day. Yes, like he's been dead for like ages. We had a really good conversation about the Ark.
It really has been 4 years of unintentional comedy.
Dude, it'd be even funnier if you get a scene with the fact that we all know Gerald Robotnik was killed via firing squad 50 years ago, but Joe Biden's still talking about it.
Yeah, I
God.
had a really good conversation with him about the ultimate life form.
He picks
ultimate
up
life
the
form
picture of
Super
Sonic and
Mario.
Shadow on his desk, and he's like, "The Legend of Zelda."
We need Link and his Loftwing here immediately. Oh, God. Please put Joe Biden in the movie, please.
please
Like, you
put
know
a Joe
Obama was
Biden
in stuff.
surrogate in the movie.
Just have a fucking
Or
skeleton.
like, you know how they had they put Michelle Obama in iCarly that one time? Just do that with Joe Biden, except it's Sonic.
Oh, the skeleton is here to audition for the role of Joe Biden.
That would be so fucking funny if they just had a skeleton for president and
Just
they
in a
never
suit.
addressed it.
He's-
Oh my God. He goes, oh, that rattles me right to my bones. And then
he gets full
He rattles.
dialogue stretches, but he's just mute. It's just a shot of him for a prolonged
and-
period.
text on screen.
It's yeah. Well, what do you think about what's going on with the Ark, Mr. President Skellington? And he just kind of rattles his bones and plays his chest like the xylophone.
All right, we will
I was
nuke it.
just thinking that.
I'm imagining all those fucking old animated shorts where they're doing the crazy dances and lines and stuff. And oh my God, I love skeletons. This is so funny. I'm glad I got one.
Yeah, dude, I want to get cremated on a low heat so that we could keep the skeleton. I want him
I'll
to,
remember that.
I want my skeleton to be at my funeral, just sat there with his mouth just
Can-
wide open, laughing.
Can I be cremated on a lower setting? So yeah, I can get that cool skeleton, and then you can position it next to my gravestone like a little goofy guy.
The last
I
thing
want
on
my
my bucket
skeleton
list
to be
is
looking over my casket at me, like in Sonic Heroes and Hang Castle, the skeleton that keeps popping out and looking at you.
Yeah.
Do
So
that.
many-
Put my skeleton there.
there are so many fun things that can be done with a dead body at a funeral when you think about it.
Yes.
You could you know those Hawaiian dress things that you wear around your neck. You could take the small intestines and kind of wear it.
Oh my God, I don't got those, man.
You haven't got intestines?
Not anymore.
What
Not in
happened?
America, no.
No, I legitimately, actually, no, I still have the small intestine. I don't have a large intestine.
Wait,
I legitimately
wait,
had that
how?
removed.
Wait, are you sure? Are you sure you don't mean your appendix?
No, I had my appendix removed as well, but I had my colon removed a couple years
your
ago
large
for
intestine is the
illness
thing
reasons.
that goes to your ass. How do you not
I know.
have your large intestine?
Have you never heard of this? Have I never told you this?
No.
I have an ileostomy bag. I don't go to the bathroom like a normal person.
You're fucking with me. Is this real?
No, I'm serious. This is a thing because I have an illness called Crohn's disease, and it was fucking me up for basically the last 20 years. So I just had that stuff removed.
And you don't poop?
No, I don't.
That's so interesting.
It's,
that needs to.
it's,
That needs to be
I just have a bag on my stomach.
There's 129 episodes of this podcast.
I've only been here for like 15 episodes.
Well, you know what? That's
something that
15
happened
too
to me.
long.
A few years ago, I had like major surgery. It was not comfy.
We need
Let me tell you that much.
Next week's PowerPoint party. Do you reckon you could do it about that?
I'm not
But
gonna. I'm not gonna make it about
it's
that.
so interesting. I just like I have such a big interest in like medical stuff like that. So
I
Yeah.
want to see you shit.
Well, it's interesting. It's kind of
okay.
it's
Me
kind of
being-
gross to say,
Yeah.
but like what they do is they for anyone who's squeamish, don't listen to this, I guess. But like they separate the two intestines because my colon was the problem, and they remove that, and then they take the end of the small intestine, they put it through the muscle of your stomach, like your core muscle, and it pokes out of your skin, and then you wear a bag over it, basically.
that is fascinating.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's drastically improved my it's drastically improved my quality of life because like before that I was like in the hospital all the time and I was sick as fuck for like most of my life.
So
But
wait,
after
do you
I
just
got rid of
have,
that
like,
stuff, I just
a little
fine.
baggy thing that you just kind of remove from yourself then and just kind of put it in a bin?
Well,
Or
what
like
you
a-
do is there are different kinds of them. Like the ones I use, there are ones called 2-piece appliances and 1-piece appliances. And the 2-piece ones
Sorry.
have a thing. 1-piece. The
Sorry.
2-piece appliance, you put basically it's a sticker with like a plastic piece on it that goes around. They call it the stoma, and then you clip a bag onto it, and then you can easily take it off to empty it or switch it off to another one. But I don't like those because they jut out too much, and I feel like you can see it through my shirt. So what I use is the 1-piece one, where all I do is it's a sticker, like a sort of plastic rubbery sticker. I put a little bit of this special like skin-friendly paste on it, and I have to stick it to my stomach, and it stays on for about a week. Then I have to replace it.
Wow.
That boy ain't right.
Okay, Pup.
It's different, but
I'm
it's
just like, wow, that's so fascinating. Pup's like, I need to see you poop immediately.
Yeah, I do.
it is canon lore. I do not poop, but it's I'm surprised I never mentioned
There are
that. Like I've
90
met you
people
in
watching
person,
right
but
now.
like
You
you
did
wouldn't
not-
know. See, like you would not know because
You don't have to
it
divulge
doesn't really
this,
show.
but this is crazy.
Yeah, I'm surprised I hadn't mentioned it, but
Oh,
That's
yeah,
cool.
it saves me a lot of time. I can tell you that much.
you got a
Like
crazy
with Crohn's disease, you're in the
non-pooping
bathroom a
man on the
lot,
podcast.
and now I am not. So
Fascinating.
No, I got
Medical
real pissed.
technology is so interesting.
And you know what's funny? They've been doing this for a long time too, like longer than I would have expected. And it's like honestly, you probably pass people on the street all the time that have the same thing. You just wouldn't know
Wow.
because like you would need to see me with like at the pool or something. You know, like without a shirt on.
Yeah.
Else you
I love
wouldn't
how
know.
everyone here is remembering Surus Pookham. Dylan, did I ever tell you about Surus Pookham?
No,
I've
you
told
haven't.
you that Surus's poops are like nuclear. Surus was a former host on this show, so
Of course, that's why when you were telling me that, I felt bad because I have my own things
no, he's
that,
got like
that are like that. You
no,
know?
but he's got like the most nuclear shits. But it used to be like, you know, when he'd be on stream, I'd say bring the webcam with you and poo. Surus Pookham. Like
fuck?
if we donate enough and get the hashtag trending, can we get Surus Pookham?
Ah, okay.
And now everyone's saying like we don't need Surus Pookham anymore. We now need Dylan Pookham because like it's genuinely fascinating. This.
You know what? Honestly, mine would actually be completely safe for work because there's nothing involved that is like, you know,
You ever like one of the bags burst
Like-
though, or like?
yeah.
Oh no!
It's not
Really?
great. Like, and I sleep on my stomach, so that's like a problem. So I need to make sure it's like not full when I go to sleep.
I suppose it'll make childbirth
You know?
easier, right?
I think
I don't
no,
know
I've
about
actually
that.
thought about that. I'm like,
I'm fucking terrified of childbirth, man. That's gonna hurt.
no, I think I don't know if you can even
Hold on.
because the way that this thing works, I feel like if you were pregnant with this thing, it might be really bad for
Just
for
drag
this,
it
like,
out
the-
by its leg.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, like I thought about that before. I'm like, I'm glad I am not able to be pregnant in any way because I don't think that would work out well for me. You know, but I don't know. It could be fine. I really don't know. I haven't looked it up because typically I don't like think about it or do it or like talk about it unless it like comes up. Because I mean, for all intents and purposes, I'm just completely.
How did this come up?
Yeah, actually, how did this come up? I don't even remember.
Something about intestines, and I was like, I don't have those.
Oh yeah, I was saying you could wear intestines like a Hawaiian dress.
I have a small intestine, do not have the large intestine anymore.
I've got a big fucking intestine, big throbbing intestine.
I had small intestine problems recently. Okay, I gotta stop derailing this. I
think
I was about to talk about my small intestine.
Dude,
like,
we're near the end, man. You can talk about this fucking small intestine.
But yeah, we had Salty DK down on the podcast. He talked about his small intestine for 3 hours.
Let him.
Yeah,
Let him.
I just had a medical issue that like is still kind of unresolved, where my small intestine like kaleidoscoped into itself, and they don't know why that happened.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it was one of the most painful experiences ever, and I was like, oh, so that can hurt. All right.
I'm lame.
Because
I
like
don't-
it's not like you have. It's not like when you walk around, you can feel your intestines wriggling around. So it's like when that happened, I was just like, ooh, I have a tummy ache. And then the tummy ache got worse and worse. And I was like, what the fuck is happening?
I'm lame. I don't have any superpowers.
That's scary. That is scary, though. That's why, like, when I first had this surgery done, they removed my appendix as well. Because they didn't want me to be like, oh, what the fuck's going on? Like, am I in pain because of the appendix, or am I in pain because of everything else? But they just get rid of that stuff. And
also, to reference that chat question, yes, they can do that, and yes, it is insanely painful. And also, yes, I have no idea what caused it, and the doctors still don't know. I went into surgery, and they were planning to cut out the section that kaleidoscoped and then stitch it back together. And they opened me up, and they found, oh wait, no, it like fixed itself. We don't have to do anything. But they don't know how it fixed itself.
And here I thought you Americans had a hard rap with fucking mandated circumcision, but this is just off the fucking charts.
Dude, that happened so long ago, it doesn't bother me anymore. I don't give a shit.
You should still want it back, though. Like, surely you'd want like a little insurance for it.
I'm a little bit pissed that it got robbed.
Right,
I'm a little bit pissed that it got robbed from me.
Everyone made fun of Game Dude for it, but it was the one thing Game Dude was fucking right about.
They keep taking my other organs away from me. I don't want them back. Like, actually, you know what? When I woke up from the surgery, I was like, where is it? Can I see it? Can I see my baby?
You'd want to keep it, though, right? You could eat it?
Fuck no, dude.
Eat it? What the fuck is wrong with you?
No, my student finals project was.
It's like Laffy Taffy.
No, my student finals project. I did like a film course at university, and my finals project was a little film about a guy who gets his arm amputated and then decides to invite his friends around for a barbecue, and they all eat it.
Eat it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And it's based on a true story.
It's not filled with shit. It's filled with meat.
No, the funny thing is that the story's told from the.
You should change the name of this episode to Sonic and Circumcision.
Oh, dude, we've already had an episode about circumcision.
Okay, excellent. Favorite Sonic podcast, hands down.
You are on Sunset City, okay? This is not any Sonic podcast.
Oh god.
It makes me wonder why the saying is the Sonic podcast for the classic and not something that more just represents the general vibe. That's from the Nick era of the show, though.
Bad mechanic. Every time I have an organ removed, the Sonic game is put in its place. Dude, I think I would be worse off if they put like Sonic Unleashed where my colon used to be. I'd be like, that'd be bad, man.
Wait, so you mentioned you get a little sticker and stuff that goes. Could you not like get a little Sonic one?
No, it's not. It's like an adhesive. I'm trying to come up with like the word for it.
Manufacture it with a Sonic design on it.
Okay, I could have some form of Sonic thing for it. They do make like bag covers in case you don't want to just have like the beige bag or like a,
Right.
whatever. And I've
Okay.
seen those.
Teespring, if you're watching this, I want to be able to make custom that. I want to be able to sell custom Channel Pup themed that.
Bag covers.
Yeah, poo bag covers or whatever the fuck this is.
I would lose my mind if I like lifted my shirt up and I had a Channel Pup ileostomy bag.
It'd be awesome,
That
though,
would-
right?
Insane to me.
Also, I don't want to interrupt the ileostomy bag discussion. However,
I've got
I
nothing
do
else
want to
to say
say that I have I think around less than 30 minutes left
Okay,
to
that's fine. We'll.
I
Be
don't
on
have
the
30
pod?
more minutes to say.
I think.
Yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know. I wanted to give you the heads up because I did have something planned a little bit later today, but I didn't want to make a big deal out of
No,
it.
of course. Don't worry about
I'm
it.
meeting the
Totally
president.
Of course.
Okay. Oh, you're gonna go see Joe Biden about his new role in the movie?
Tell him I said
Yeah.
rest in peace. So, okay, then let's move
Let's
on
go.
to the super chats. So, I've posted them all in the super chat mailbag channel. You could get to that, right, Salty?
Yes, I can.
All right, so we kind of read it in like table order, and the table on the stream is Dylan to left of me, Salty to the right. Here I am in the middle. All right, alrighty, Dylan. And yeah, you read whichever one has a burger underneath it. So, Dylan, you're up. Burger. You need
I'm not. Oh, okay. I see it. Yep, I got it. Okay, so this is. Here we go. Sonic fan 1661. It was $2.
Read it.
The
Wait.
first super chat is would let Rouge sit on me. 10 out of 10.
Yes.
Thank you, Sonic fan 1661, for sending in that message that I read that you wrote.
You can let her all you want.
Yes.
All you want. She's not gonna do it.
Yes.
Burger. It's my turn with Sonic fan 1661 back again with $2. Oh, for fuck's Pup's dementia is in full swing today, it seems. What dementia moment did I have on this episode? If I had one, I forgot it.
I don't think you did. I think today
I think that was the dementia moment. You
Shit.
forgot about your dementia moment.
he thinks he's blind. He's not. He forgot about it. Yeah.
So Dylan, like, do you go for a shit or what? Burger.
Absolutely.
Salty.
This super chat is by Xavier Fortin, and this person says, "Hey Salty, big fan of you. Keep up the good work." I will not. Thanks for the super
Cool.
chat.
He loves being called Xavier Farton.
Xavier Fartin.
He loves it.
I can tell it's an amazing name. I would love to be called that actually.
Burger.
Yeah. Yo, this is actually crazy. There's more than one super chat today about Digimon. Which is very interesting. Anyway, here we go. From Twilord, we have 5, what is that, euros?
Yep.
5 euros. Digimon has a V-Pet doing crossovers that lets you raise them with exercise. The lack of a Chow one shows how mishandled both brands are. That one actually is
Agreed.
pretty cool. I think like when Pokemon Go came out, I actually got outside a lot more for a while, and then when Pikmin Bloom came out, I did the same thing. I enjoyed walking around and finding little Pikmin guys. It's just there are like 8 Pikmin and like 700 Pokemon. So like one
Yeah.
of those is a little bit more stacked than the other.
Yeah, I could not get into Pikmin Bloom. I tried though.
It was tough, and they still haven't added the new ones from Pikmin 4, so I don't know what they're dragging their feet with, but
Yeah,
Anyway,
I love me some Pokemon Go though. I just love collecting little creatures.
it's fun. It was cool.
I
Yeah.
play Pokemon Go.
Dude, oh god, I used to, very quick aside, so I know we're doing super chats. I worked at a mall when Pokemon Go first came out, and I was able to observe the world peace that resulted. Like in real time. Like I would be standing there watching people walk by with their friends and family playing Pokemon Go together. Random groups would just form up and be like, "There's a Squirtle over there by the Pottery Barn," and they would run over there. Or like this one family, I saw them come to the mall every day to walk around and play Pokemon Go, and I was like, "The shit can't get better than this, guys." Like I so wish that was still the standard. It was so nice.
Dylan, have you
But
ever,
anyway,
Better
thank you.
than this.
have you ever seen Mike and Melissa, Dylan?
Who no, were
Oh
they
my
on
god.
I gotta show you that after the show's over, man. You're gonna love it.
You need to watch it. It's great.
Mike and Melissa is the
Show?
most. Yeah, the lore behind it. It's a pilot.
It
but-
is. It is an animated pilot created by a college student for a final presentation for their animation class. Except there wasn't an animation class at all.
Oh,
And it is. It's a magical pilot.
Dude, I want the
how
thing
does that relate
is,
to Pokemon Go?
all jokes aside, I actually want to see where it would have gone. Unironically.
Me too. I also don't know how that has anything to do with Pokemon Go. I'm just glad to talk about it because Pup brought it up.
Dude,
Okay.
Yes.
alright.
No. Like no. It relates to Sonic, kinda. Not really.
Oh, actually,
It might-
real quick, last
tangentially.
thing.
It might. We'll
Sorry,
get
last
to it.
thing about
I will show
Animal
you.
last thing about Pokemon
characters.
Go.
Yeah, Dylan,
there was
you'll love it. Anyway, yeah, Pokemon Go.
Yeah, I love it. Last thing about Pokemon Go, Soniku in the chat said it was time Pokemon Go to the polls. That is that was the worst sentence that's ever been uttered by like any human ever. Like if you guys haven't seen it, the Hillary Clinton thing where she's like, I don't know who made Pokemon Go, but we're gonna make Pokemon Go to the polls, and like everyone cheers, and I think I lost like 8 years of my life.
I remember when
Just
Biden
hearing that.
danced to Desposito as well. I fucking love Democratic candidates. They're so
What?
fucking funny. You do not see it. We have to.
He can dance?
We gotta pick up the pace though. So I guess I'll get the
Okay.
next super chat with
Yeah, Joe
Next,
Biden's about to absorb me. We gotta hurry up.
sure. C man, great name again. Sends $2.99 Aussie dollars. Good day, mates. Good day, C man. I still like your name. I still find it funny. Worker.
Burger.
Put the second-
Trilord donated €5 and said, if Shadow the Hedgehog is Shadow 1 and Shadow Generations is Shadow 2, can we get Shadow 3 and Knuckles as the second and Knuckles? Finally get S3 and K2?
That's amazing.
I would actually
Wow.
be so down for a Shadow and Knuckles game because I don't really think they've interacted all that much.
Not enough. Like they've interacted a little in
Yeah.
the comics, but never in the games.
Yeah.
In the Unleashed comic adaptation, they had Shadow and Knuckles hang out for a while, and I think it's because there was that thing where they used to say, like, Shadow and Knuckles were going to be in Unleashed, but then they weren't. I think.
That's
I
cool.
still need to
So
read
they,
the
like-
Shattered Earth arc, but like, dude,
I
must
forgot
admit,
that Knuckles wasn't in Unleashed. That's so strange.
Yeah, he just doesn't show up at all.
I think I do prefer late era Archie to IDW, just because they had no restriction, and it was just like,
Yeah, no restrictions at all. I do agree. I think that Sonic the Fighters adaptation was so good.
I need to read that too. I've just been kind of reading from like issue 106.
I need to sit down and start from the very beginning with a
Oh,
couple of
dude,
friends.
the
I want to make
fucking-
like a little book club.
The earliest stuff is.
Oh.
Dude, could I get an invite for Sonic Book Club?
Yeah, I
can't
freaking I just remember it being way more comedically toned,
Dude,
and then
it's
slowly got into
exhausting.
more serialized stuff. And then there was an Urkel bot. That was pretty cool.
Really?
The
put
earliest
Yeah, no,
Archie
Dr.
stuff
Eggman
is just-
Dr. Robotnik creates an Urkel bot that's around
my
for like
God.
a page and a half.
The earliest Archie stuff is just exhausting, but like my favorite thing is like in the first like issue, there's like these characters called Al and Cal, who is like short for horizontal and vertical, and they like own the special stages, and they're like, if you want Al and Cal to return, write in, and then like the next issue is like back by popular demand. It's like
Yeah, no. Horizont Al and Vertic Al are such interesting and hilarious characters because the way I don't want to talk too much about this because I'm gonna divert too much, but Archie is so interesting because it started as a comedic comic and then became a more serious comic over time and actually had lore. So all of the comedy characters that they introduced at the beginning had to like kind of stick around because it was
Yeah.
all one like canon. Like they never really rebooted in a normal sense.
Dude, these look
So
like Archie
Horizontal
characters,
Horizontal
actual
and Vertical had their last appearances in a multiversal jail arc, and it was fucking
Yes.
hilarious.
with Scourge and Fiona. Also,
Yeah,
just
Scourge and
they're in
Fiona
jail.
meet Horizontal and Vertical in the multidimensional Sonic jail, and
Also,
it
just-
went so hard.
my hands are up right now. Fiona Fox would. I don't fucking.
I mean, come on, they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, would. That's one word. That's all I got.
Would.
Yeah.
Oh, I like these robotic redesigns of them. These are
Yeah,
pretty cool.
when the comic got more like lore heavy, they had a very short-lived like thing where horizontal and vertical came back in the mid era of the comic, and they were like, their human designs were retconned into being like illusions, and they had like these cool robotic designs where they were like fighting against each other. But then they did a retcon of the retcon, because turns out that they're like, oh no, they are in their human forms again later. Just because it looked goofy.
Right here.
Yeah, because they're in the jail and their
to,
Seeing them holding up Scourge the Hedgehog is fucking hilarious. That is
the equivalent
so
to like Mr. Mixie's Pintlick, but for Sonic. Like,
yeah, and lest we not forget one of the best multiversal characters, Smalls the cat, which is evil Big the cat.
Smalls the cat. That sounds like a fake thing people would just say.
Cannot forget how Scourge got his roots as evil Sonic, and he wore like a leather jacket, and it was really funny.
Oh, and also canonically, Mephiles makes his only Archie Sonic appearance in the multiversal jail, where he's like, "What's that guy's problem?"
Yeah, he's like so out of character. Like, that dude needs to chill.
Dude, I like the only reason I know that is because when I was making a video thumbnail once, I wanted Archie art for it, and I found I think there were actually there might have been like one other panel where Mephiles was referenced, because I remember seeing another piece of art of him from the comic, but like that's his only like prominent role of being in prison and being like, hey, what's up with that guy?
It's so fascinating. It really is interesting.
Sorry, we have to get back to it because we do have quite a few super chats left. If you do need to dip, you can, but like just make sure to promote yourself before you go. Not that you.
No, of course.
Look at him.
So,
look at him holding this pole.
Myself. Austin D. Wait, no. Is it me? Is it me or is it you, Dylan? Dylan.
No, I think it's me.
Orker.
All right, here we go. We got one from Austin D. Chaos. It's
great
$10
podcast
US.
for a person called Austin D. Chaos to be listening to.
Yeah. Hey, Sunset people and K9.
Hello.
Sending all the love and support I'm legally allowed to give in the form of money. Anyway, I hope you all have a good one. Thank you so much. That's very nice of you.
Thank you, Austin.
Appreciate it. Hope you have a good one as well.
Orker, it's
yeah, I hope this person has a wonderful life from now on.
Yeah.
Sonic Fan 1661 back again with $2 US. Obligatory hashtag cap that kid. They gotta do it in 3. Hell yeah, you ain't kid. Orker.
True. Crispy Ruffles sent over $5 US and said, when DK Dan said that you'd like to experience Sonic Adventure Vanilla, I thought you meant the rabbit. Or do you? Yes.
I mean, if she was in it. You know,
I mean,
get some of that polygonal bonusy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. Barker. Linda. Dylan.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Linda.
Dylan.
Another €5 from Twilord. Dylan. It's a great way to have both Amy and Rouge in Sonic 3 there, Pup. Egg Carry shoots Amy, so in addition to her own stuff, Rouge gives Shadow the speech. So you say we execute Amy live on screen and then have Rouge talk to Shadow.
You know what? Killing 2 young women is a good idea.
Holy shit, the quotes from this episode.
This is the future that the liberals want.
Oh, boy. I realized what I was saying as I was saying it. That's the problem.
Hey.
Killing 2 young women. Epic.
Based. Burger. All right, so
God damn it.
Sonic Fan 1661 sends $5 US back again. That first time fighting Gigantor will forever be my most favorite moment in the whole franchise. I was losing my mind. It made me so happy. We all remember where we were when we first played the Giganto fight. Like,
yeah, I was in my room.
I think that was the moment where I was like, oh no, this like rocks.
I was in
This is
Game
awesome.
Apologist's spare room playing that fight, and I was just amazed by what I was seeing.
Screaming. I remember my
like,
mouth
after that
dropped.
fight,
Like,
like,
I had like a cartoon mouth drop moment. Like, what the fuck am I playing right now? This is Sonic?
We both went to like the dining area, and we were both like, that is the best fucking Supersonic fight ever.
Yeah.
Little did I know it would only get better. Worker.
Is that a sound effect, or you just keep saying burger?
I keep saying it.
Okay, it
Linda.
sounds like the exact same thing.
No.
He's got a talent for it.
Twilord said €2. It said Tory rule is demon crazy, not democracy.
Oh my god, that's such a good impression too. Holy shit.
Also, like, I don't know if you guys would even get that, but that's just a UK political. You're quite based, Twilight.
No, I don't. I don't get it.
How-
My mate Gilly always says like that. My Bob's Burgers impression is like it's terrible, but you know exactly who it's meant to.
Yeah, I love those sorts of impressions.
Linda, we do.
It's like
That's
when I
my
do.
favorite
That's
kind
like
of
when I
Linda.
do Marge.
Homie.
Yeah,
Mommy, I love Sonic.
Marriage.
it's
You
a
need
pretty
to
good
read.
Bard. It sounds like Bard.
Marriage. You need to read from Mike 1911. Marriage.
Marge,
Oh, that's
Marge,
good.
I love Marge. We gotta kill that kid.
Lisa,
Bard, that boy ain't right.
you're playing the saxophone, Lisa.
I hope for Treehouse of Horror they do a Sonic 3 skit for some reason, for like no reason. And Lisa is Maria and she gets capped on screen.
Come on, Maria. Let's go get some frosty chocolate milkshakes.
All right. So for Mike 1911, we've got $1.99 US dollar. I'd love to see Paramount bring Sally back in movie 3. I'm glad that you want that.
You've got more chance of them doing it in the movie than in the games. Let's put it that
That's
way.
it. I don't. I think. I think I don't know. I feel like
Linda.
no.
Linda. Lynn.
But thank you.
I can't do yelling with the Bob
Lynn.
voice. Lynn. Linda.
Gene, what do you think?
Burger.
Gene, what do you think you're doing to the burgers?
Oh
Okay.
no.
Dad. Oh wait, no, that's Chris Griffin.
No, that's Bob. No, that's King of the Hill.
last fruit
It's Bobby. Yeah.
But Dad. Okay, so Dad. Twilord sends €5. Digimon stop pooping at Mega Level until they poop like Tamagotchi. Mega Level scales to Planet Buster. Dylan is Mega Level?
Yeah, you better fucking watch out, guys. You better subscribe. Thank you for that.
Mega Level kind of sounds like it. It's like one of those things where like, no, I have 5,000 power, and I'm very epic, and everyone loves me because I have 5,000 power in Rise of Kingdom.
Yeah. My power scaling is off the charts. Not even Goku could leave a scratch on me.
None of
The
that is
reason I'm
Sonic,
so
I know
cool is I
nothing
have
about it.
5,000 Mega Level power in Rise of Kingdom.
Rise of Kingdoms, more like Rise of Me to power.
Burger.
Sonic
Anyway.
fan 1661 sent $2 and said, Suri's poo cam lives on in Dylan.
I was telling you about Sirius.
Oh God. Oh, I
Oh,
feel you.
His poops are real
I
bad.
feel you.
Lovely guy. Poops
Okay.
very bad. Borg.
All right. Mr. Terry Chaos with £2. If we get CGI Rouge in the AI age, the Rule 34.
This is what's gonna ruin
Okay.
it. This is what's gonna ruin it. Go
No,
on.
listen, Mr. Terry Chaos. Can I call you Terry? I like where your head is at. However, I think that you need to realize that we're already in a pretty sophisticated age without AI. I have seen some of the most fluid Overwatch porn that you have ever seen or heard of in your entire life. I have also
Well,
seen extremely fluid Rouge porn. My friend told me about it. I didn't see it myself. My friend told me about
You
it.
don't need to justify it, man. I'm
we
the one
changed the
that.
story
Okay, I
instead.
told him about it.
Pump told me about it.
Yeah.
We don't need AI. We just need some
That's
really
why Salty's here today.
talented
Like, upset him a
CG
DM and talk
artists.
about it.
No, but I want to make a little video essay on why, like, how part of the reason why Rouge is so fucking sexy is because she's got that, like, human body. It'd be like fucking a chick with a mascot head. But, like, if they do her in the movies, we've already seen that the skin textures get translated to fur, so she's just gonna be fucking furry all over.
No, she's gonna be furry.
gonna ruin
Okay, I'll
it.
make do.
It's gonna ruin
Pop, you're
it.
already a furry. Your mascot's
I'm not
a dog.
a fucking furry!
I'll make do.
Right, next
Borger.
up is, like, this is me, right? Mr. No. Sorry, this is you, Salty. Or no, this is Pup.
I don't know who the fuck it... Alright.
No, I think it's Pup.
Alright,
I got
it's
confused
Pup now, it's Pup
Salty
now.
started talking
Alright.
right after that.
So Mr.
No, it's
SP...
Pup now. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Mr. SP sends $3.01. What a weird fucking number. But it should be Rup,
I
not
appreciate
Pooge.
that.
Think about it. No, Pooge sounds way better.
Rup.
Pooge sounds
Pooh
so
sounds
much...
like Poon.
And Pooh.
That too, I guess.
In marriage, it sounds like Pooh.
Marge, it should be Rup, not Pooge.
Hey, Lois, it's Pooh. Holy
Okay.
Oh
fuck.
God.
Holy fuck.
Uh,
Burger.
Let's see. Donated $2. It said, "Oh God, two bad Bob Berber voices in one call." I wouldn't say I'm bad.
I resent
I would
calling
say
mine
not
bad.
bad, yeah.
I'm saying mine's pretty epic and awesome. If you know what character it is, it's at least a semi-good impression.
Oh, thank you, Linda.
Yeah.
It's Archer. Yeah.
Linda.
Lynn.
Jade.
Louise. Dana.
Dude. Okay, all right.
Dude.
Anyone watch Jerba? Here.
Yeah, of course. I've seen Jerma.
I don't
My
know.
favorite thing he does, and that like a lot of people do with impressions, is that like you have to put a name in the impression at some point so people can understand what you're trying to be.
Mr.
You know,
Krabs. Oh my god, no, yeah, no,
when
Oh,
he
SpongeBob, me boy.
Dude,
You
it's
gotta
Jerba.
put that in.
Boy, me Bob. I really
Linda.
liked his. I really liked his insanely accurate Doofenshmirtz impression.
I know that was crazy.
That was fucking crazy. He just did
He's
it, and then he
never done it.
never did it again.
Oh,
Krabs,
baby,
I turned the Krabby Patty secret formula into an NFT, Mr. Krabs.
That sounded like Homer for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, my Homer and Plankton seem to drift between each other.
God damn it! I love impressions so fun. They're so funny. These-
Squidward.
The-
Leave me
the-
alone, Plankton.
if you could do one impression perfectly of any character or voice, what would you want to do? Mine is Jimmy Neutron. I feel like you could get so much mileage out of that voice.
Oh,
I'd be
fuck,
yelling
that's a
brain
good
blast
question.
all the time.
I can
It's
kind of do
tough.
a Kermit, like I can kind of do an okay Kermit, I guess.
I feel like
Everybody can do a
is really
Kermit.
funny.
Oh,
Oh,
fuck you
Donald
then. I
Duck.
thought I was
Donald
doing
Duck.
okay with my Kermit, but now you're coming at me and telling me anyone can do
And
a fucking
everybody
Kermit?
can also do a Stitch voice.
If
I
you
feel
can
like
do a
everybody
Kermit, you
does
can
that.
also do Ray Romano. So that's.
I think
awesome.
Donald Duck it would be an amazing one to bust out like with
Oh,
every
yeah.
little quirk it has
Dude,
because
you'd
you
spit at
it
everyone.
would either be
though.
really funny or no one would be able to hear what you were saying. It's
Pete from a Goofy movie, like, you fuck my wife, Goofy?
hey, you want to fuck my wife?
I don't have a problem with it. Fucking.
I've seen this video.
Yeah, I know.
Seen
It was a mandatory viewing for all Sunset City members.
Oh, that's right. You sent it to me.
Yeah, it was mandatory viewing.
Oh God.
All right,
Okay.
okay, right. Did
That was a video on YouTube, by the way. That was not anything weird.
did we
It
read?
was a video on YouTube that I was
Go
sent.
ahead, Goofy. You want to fuck my wife? Did we read Mr. Terry Chaos's last one where he said you two are men of culture?
No, that
no.
was mine next.
Oh,
I think.
well, go ahead, read it. Go ahead, Goofy.
So, Mr. Terry Chaos. Oh, you know what? Goofy would also be a really good impression to be able to do, like on demand.
Oh, yeah.
Like a good one. Like that would be really funny. With the laugh and like, the, like everything.
Come here, Maxie. I'm gonna put the fear of God in you.
Mr. Terry Chaos, 2 pounds. Ah, you too are men of culture. Thank you.
It's probably about the
Thank
Rouge
you.
stuff. Thank
I
you.
think it was, yeah.
It ought to be. You know, I've gone
Okay.
shopping with Mr. Terry Chaos. We went to a comic store and we looked at some of the erotic mangas.
Erotic mangas.
I don't know what you're talking about, Iranius mangoes, but whatever.
Duty women are better. Porker. Hey, hang on. Who is it?
That's
Is it
you,
me?
Pup.
It's you, it's you,
Shit.
Pup.
Dementia
just went-
moment. So, Twilord sends €5. Black Doom is a far better father than Eggman. Not a chance Eggman would keep trying to win Sage over if she sided against him 5 times. As Tails once
Yeah,
said,
but
true dat.
yeah, true dat. But also, Black Doom wanted to just use. Well, actually, no. Eggman wanted to use Sage for evil too. Never mind. My point is not stand.
Come
You're
on,
right.
man. Word it differently, man. Come on, man. Come on, man.
and then there was two more super chats. One that says nothing and one that says something.
But that's how
Should I
you
just
know
read
that they're.
both?
If someone
Yeah,
sends
yeah,
in a super
just do
chat
those
without fucking saying anything, they're a yogurt mail because they
Yeah.
don't need to be heard. They only want to give.
Yeah.
wonder
So is that Omega symbol?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Omega
Omega
Mr.
Mr.
Salty donated $3 I think that's $3
I mean,
or
you're
something.
fucking wrong. That's $2.99. You're fucking wrong.
Oh, sorry.
here we
I
go again.
rounded up like a normal person. My
Yeah, but
bad.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
Right?
We say the facts. We don't fucking round. We don't fucking round here.
We have not been talking facts. Yeah, you know what? We actually did spit some facts today, I think.
I think we did.
And the last one says it's by Lit C and it's $2 US and it says buy Sadly Feet Gay Dan and the other two.
See you later,
I've
man.
never
Thanks.
heard of Sadly Feet Gay Dan, but thank you.
Sadly feet gay Dan.
Holy shit. Sat.
I'm gonna start using that. Feet Gay Dan.
That could be
Oh,
like, you know how YouTubers
God.
have like their edgy anti-version? You could be Satly Feet Dan.
Oh fuck.
I
there's a
always assumed it would be
skeleton.
something like Pepper something.
Oh, that's a
I feel
good
like
point.
it's pretty
too. That makes
easy.
sense.
Guys,
Yeah, and then he forces me to review Sonic 06 to like save the world.
Guys, we gotta go. Fucking skeletons here, and he's gonna fucking eat us all.
Yeah, alright.
Skeletons don't need to eat pups. Stop making this a thing.
Well, why does he
They just
fucking
need
eat
milk.
people all the fucking time then, Salty?
What skeleton is eating people?
This one! His name is Skeleton, and he's a skeleton of fun.
Actually, I guess
I don't like
there was
this.
a movie called Warm Bodies once where there were zombies, but also skeletons that ran around, and they still tried to eat you.
Oh yeah, I remember that movie.
Yeah, it's like the
Oh,
zombie
man.
that falls in love.
If I didn't have to leave, I'd talk about that movie for like 30 minutes.
You know what? Anytime you want to
Next
come
time.
back and chat about this fucking shit, by all means.
Yeah, no, but by all means, invite me back. I like just hanging and talking.
Hell yeah, man.
That was
Hell
fun. Yeah, I had a really good time today.
Well,
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Congratulations, guys. We fucking did it. But okay, going around the table. Salty, what are you up to? What do you want to promote? Come fucking promote some shit, man. Flog your shit.
Well, I finally have something to promote. I've committed to weekly videos, and I have a video
Cool.
that's probably coming out tomorrow. And it's covering. It's a video covering the very first fan film that there's any recorded stuff about. At least from what I understand, it's at least the very first Spider-Man fan film ever made, and it's
The
so
1961?
interesting.
Like 1961, was it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's like called like Green Goblin's Revenge or something
oh no,
like
that's
that.
not the very first one then. The very first one was
Is
by
it
a guy
not?
called Donald Glut, and it came out in the 1960s. And it had a
Glut.
villain that went by the name of I can't remember what his name was now. It was a made up villain though for the film.
Ah, okay. Well, my video's a lie then, and I'm too lazy
Oh,
to
no.
fix it.
Fucking
I
just
now
a
I'm
bad
gonna have to
Channel Pup
rename
coin.
it.
What can I fucking say?
Yeah, I'm just
Almost.
gonna have to rename it now. Thank God
I'll
you
just do
told
it
me that,
anyway.
or else I would have lied.
I got you, bro. I
Um,
got you.
But yeah, no, I hope I don't reference it as the first fan film in the video. Oopsie. If I do, oopsie poopsie.
Salty man.
But it's a really good video. I really like it, and I just like talking about fan creations a lot, and especially stuff that was before like the advent of the internet is like so interesting to me. So yeah, check it out. And I'm having weekly videos now, so I got lots of shit
Sweet.
coming out.
Dylan,
That shit's difficult. I wish you luck.
Thank you.
I would immediately ask you what you're up to, but it actually segues a little too well into what I'm up to. So is it cool if you go last today, Dylan?
Oh yeah, no, that's fine.
Sick.
What are you doing, pup?
So I haven't been working on much videos lately. I am working on a video though on AliExpress Spider-Man bootleg action figures. So we're gonna do a little AliExpress shopping. But the main reason why I haven't been working on a lot of videos lately is because I've been working on that, which is up on screen right now for the viewers. This is the first poster for my Sonic fan film short, Speeding Ticket, a Sonic Adventure. Which will be coming soon. Dylan, you've seen some of the animation stuff for it. You can vouch. I'm putting the work in. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun little adventure. It's a short film. And I guess I can announce it now. Wayne, who a lot of you will know from the show, will be voicing Sonic in this. So yeah,
Nice.
really excited to kind of show this off. been putting a lot of work in, and it's gonna be fun. And because I really feel the need to credit the guy that made the Sonic model for this, it is by a guy called Dan Carter 3D. He makes incredible work. It's all available for free on his Ko-Fi. So, like, all the credit in the world goes to him for giving me such a versatile model that even I, someone who doesn't really animate stuff, could work with. So, yeah, just it was important to get that out there. Dylan, what are you up to?
I have a video about a Silver the Hedgehog fan game coming out next week. It's a super old game that I just stumbled onto while I was just kind of dicking around on the internet, and I thought it was neat, so yeah, we'll have that out next week. And then I'm also working on, I mentioned like a Sonic Roblox thing, because there's some genuinely good content there amongst the filth. And I started going to the gym again. I'm working on myself.
Oh, fucking
Nice.
Get it, man.
I need to get back to working out again. It's been a
I'm
little
not good
bit.
at it, but you know, I'm like
Nobody's good at working out. We all do it at our own pace, and that's okay.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Working
on everything.
Yeah. I also I forgot I do have a Sonic project that came out semi recently that I do want to promote, and that was I made a comic about Shadow the Hedgehog. So if you haven't read it yet, it's pinned on my Tumblr. It is one of my favorite projects I've ever gotten to work on, and I did the writing for it and helped with the storyboarding. And yeah, a lot of people have read it and was like, "There's no way that you wrote this," and I'm like, "No, I did. It's me."
Dude,
Because people just think I make
check that
fart
out.
jokes on the internet. I'm like, no, I do other stuff. I do
Send
other
the
stuff
link over.
too.
I want to see this.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
sure.
want to see this.
I'm kind of shocked. I'm kind of shocked, Pup, that you didn't see it, because I was promoting it like pretty freaking hard.
Look,
when we
I
finished
follow
it.
other people too, you know. Okay, like
Yeah. I'll put it in the back rooms.
Oh yeah,
it's
please
like
do.
a
Perfect.
9 or 10 page comic. It's took a little bit, but
I
we're very
did see
happy with
this.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have. Oh, that's awesome.
Okay, I gotta look at this.
People are really pissed about the last page, so if you want to know what everybody's pissed about, please read the comic.
Please tell me she dies.
I'm not telling.
Oh yeah, that last page hit me like a fucking truck, dude.
Yeah, I also helped design
know you made it, though.
Maria's redesign, because we didn't really like Maria's design from the game, so
A
we wanted to do
Marie
something
design.
different.
This is a good like Robotnik inspired design for her. I like that a lot.
Oh,
that was one of the
yeah,
things
yeah,
I
that
thought
is
was very unique.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, yeah. I'm gonna...
Like I said, very very proud of it. If you're watching and you like Sonic, you'll like this very short comic. It's very easy. It's a very easy read too. Like it's not that long.
Put a link in the chat.
Hey, Big McThankies from McSpankies, and
Dude, I love your Tumblr like banner too. the future Trunks.
oh yeah. It used to be like I think like the Pepsi logo, but I changed it to Future Trunks like last year.
Nice. It's good shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Well.
okay, so
Yeah.
you probably gotta run out the door in like a second. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. I gotta
wrap this up.
like hop in and out of the shower super quick and then like bolt out the door. But
Well,
Right.
hell
it was
yeah.
really
We'll let you
nice
go.
being on. Thank you guys so much for having me. And
No worries, man. Thanks for joining us,
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
no,
was
I would
awesome.
love to be back on if you ever wanted me again.
dude. Yeah.
Well,
Out
I-
of the question.
yeah.
Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
All right, sounds Gucci.
Hell yeah.
all right. Well, we'll keep up. We'll see you soon.
Yep, see you soon. Talk
See
to you
you
guys
soon.
later. Have a good one, everybody.
See ya.
Take
Take
it easy,
care.
guys.